welcome into NECC Sports League, and I am We All Cool here with Giraffero. Is that how you say that, Jenna? Sorry, I don't want to butcher your name.
Giraffero, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that. All right, yeah, we have
We'll
a
go
good
with that.
matchup here tonight, and we're just waiting for the players to get in the lobby. So let's talk about the teams a little bit. We got Butler and Arcadia. Anything that you're expecting to see coming out from tonight? And we do have the maps. We talk about that.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna have. I have a little bit written down to talk about. I always love talking about maps, and I always love talking about specific teams, why they choose maps, what we might be seeing from those maps, and all of that. We'll go into that, but it is going to be an interesting matchup. I actually, interestingly enough, I just had a cast for ECS, and this was the same exact map pool, minus Cafe, because it was a best of two. This was Coastline, and then it went Villa, and it definitely was a really interesting throw up of different strategies. So let's just get into it. Let's get right into it. So we got Coastline and we got Villa, like I had said. Coastline was Arcadia's pick, whereas Villa was Butler's pick. We know Butler's going to be on defense for Coastline, and then Villa, Arcadia is going to be on defense. And honestly, arguably, I think that I believe Butler has the less favorable sides entirely, right? Because we know Butler has attack on Villa, Butler has attack potentially on Cafe if we see a third map, and Butler has defense on Coastline, which again, arguably, because Coastline can go either way depending on which team has a better mechanical play, but looking at Coastline specifically, this was a pick from Arc. So Coastline is a map where we see a whole lot of mechanical play. I just said that, but there's not really all too much strategy that goes into it. A lot of play is rewarded by how many kills you can get and how many impactful frags you can get during the round. It's not so much about hard breaching and keeping a structure during the round as it is about just getting kills, getting utility on the board, and trying to go from there. So it really does reward a lot of those kills, and it punishes structure in a way where it slows you down and allows the other side to gain kills. So you really got to keep that in mind during this match. But with this pick, looking into Arc, trying to analyze them, I feel like they're trying to say that they're confident in their mechanical play at the very least. If not, they've definitely got something up their sleeves when it comes to Coastline, because you don't just pick that without an idea in mind as to what you're going to do or what you're going to have an advantage in. And looking at Villa, it's the other way around. It seems like Butler is going to have an advantage in terms of strategy at the very least, rather than mechanical play. So again, these two maps are very different in the way that they're played. They're very linear in the way that they're played, but again, there's more differences than we see similarities versus Villa and Coast, which is so interesting to analyze, meaning that these two teams, they may very well have completely different makeups with their rosters.
Yeah, that's very true. Different maps coming out from these teams. One, as you mentioned, probably relying more on their frag. That's why they chose Coastline, getting those frags. But I also want to point out, Butler had the option then to choose which side since it wasn't their map pick, and they chose defense. And that's interesting since, as you've mentioned, Coastline's typically what would be considered a attacker-sided map. Oftentimes, it can go either way. But that wouldn't be surprising, I suppose, to see the attackers have the advantage here. We do have everyone in the lobby, though, so I think we actually can just jump right into the matchup. It is starting on that Coastline map we had just talked about. So let's see if we're ready with these players. We can jump in. But Villa, the other thing I want to mention there is what the meta change with the changes to the ADSs and then Wamai losing the shield, et cetera, et cetera. I do feel like that map has become a lot more balanced. We haven't seen the utility meta brought as much. You have to bring Goyo if you want to kind of keep it alive relatively. And so with that in mind, I wouldn't be surprised to see a more even split coming out from Villa. So I don't know if any side would technically have an advantage there, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does go defender-sided. That's just what is the default, but I just want to keep an open mind to it. But we are jumping in here, so we're going to start looking at what the bans will be here on the first map of Coastline. I'm expecting more picks that aren't meta, since this is a map, as you mentioned, Jenna, that does not rely so much on strategy. So the Thatcher might not be brought up. Maybe it will, but I expect to see like Blackbeard or a Jackal, some of those more annoying ops help you with your roam game or help you so you don't have to worry about the window player of the Blackbeard. That's what I expect to see. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking just about the same thing. At this level of play, being, plat, gold, and such, I wouldn't expect to see super complex plays around the dynamic of team and around their strategy. I mean, Ace, he's going to be the first player off the board. That's really interesting, being that he's a ranged hard breacher. And like you had said, we're going back to utility play. So we normally want to be seeing those utility like operators taken off the board. But interestingly enough, Butler, they're going to elect to take Ace off, which definitely says that they're going to not want to have those walls in hookah, walls in kitchen, whatever it may be, opened from a range. And now that says that Habana's going to have to be taken if they want to open up those walls, meaning Arcadia. And I mean, it doesn't really do a whole lot though, because again, you still have Habana, she's still a hard breacher that's ranged, and she still can make equally as intriguing, I guess, viewpoints into the objective or angles into the objective, which could be really important. But at the same time, I feel as though they're not as utilized as they normally should be. So it kind of is interesting to look at that dynamic and why Ace was brought out. But again, we have Jackal, we have Valkyrie going off the board, and for our last ban, it is going to be Melusi. Now, Melusi is really interesting from the side of Butler to be taken out of the game because she's huge on area denial. And what do the attackers not want to have to deal with? Well, area denial, because Coastline is such a small map that basically every single inch of ground that an attacker can take, it could potentially be denied of area if there's a defender sitting there or if there's just some sort of utility sitting on walls. So it's definitely good to take out one of the foundational operators that deals with area denial, so you can't really utilize as many. I mean, that's just a huge pillar of taking out the utility when it comes to Coastline. But Valkyrie's a pretty good pick, and so is Jackal. You were talking about Jackal, and now we're going to be getting a little bit of a six pick here. It's going to be Goyo for Maestro. That's a really interesting one at the very least. What do you think about that?
Well, it does leave them with no shields on the board looking at their lineup on defense, so they're not going to be playing with those shields. But I do like the op pick for the Maestro. I think he's underrated. Having the Evil Eyes in each site could help you up those lines of sight that you might not have. Also, the information game. Having the Valk band really does limit what you can bring. The only options would be the Maestro or the Echo. And since those Echo drones are now visible, can be shot very easily. I think it is the better choice to go with the Maestro. You still want cams on this map since it is such a small map. Every bit of information is that much more useful. Looking at the attacker lineup, it's interesting to see. I believe they have a buck, if I'm saying this correctly, and a sledge. So they've doubled the soft breach, which I think is rather interesting. I do think that the hard breach being brought by the buck, it will probably be used on that VIP wall that's reinforced, and that way they don't have to use the Hibella pallets, and they can use it from the roof to open up that back wall of the billiards room from the top of square. But I still don't know if that's necessarily the best pick when it's just doubling up on something that's probably not necessary. I think they could have brought another op. But on this map, I guess, with, as you mentioned, not being so strategic, you have a lot more flexibility with those lineups. So I think they can pretty much bring whatever they want. It's going to come down to those frags, as you had mentioned before.
I mean, yeah, definitely agree with you there. There could have been a little bit more foresight into the way that the operators were picked. And with the way that utility was picked specifically, because you have a lot of soft breaching capabilities, you have a lot of flashing going on, a lot of throwable utility, but you don't really have a lot of, let's say, like flank denial utility. You don't really have a lot of that etc. utility, that miscellaneous utility that really could come in handy when it comes to roam clear, let's say. So it's a lot of fraggers, but it's not a lot of useful utility that's going to be very round lasting. And again, that's on the foresight of Arcadia to say, hey, we should do this, we should try this in the attempt to adapt to what Butler may give us. But again, there's the whole situation of proactive versus reactive adaptability, which I will talk about in the case that we see that during these rounds. But for now, let's look at Rakai, right? He's roaming, he's trying to get some kills, he's trying to spot out where those pesky attackers are. They're going to be taking a very aggressive roam clear scenario here, going in to the master bed, or rather penthouse, should I say. Rakai, though, will be sitting on the white stairs of all things. So he's going to try to be seeking out those attackers and waiting in I guess in the shadows, if you want to put it like that, on the stairs, just waiting for any attacker to fall into his trap of either goo mines and or the T5 SMG.
Yeah, having a really good gun in hand, it makes sense why he's the roamer. He can also put those goo mines in really interesting positions, knowing that the push would probably come from the standard push of the penthouse and VIP area, as we are seeing it right now. They do have to worry about this mute being here. The mute jammers will stop them from using the Hibana pellets from opening up this wall. So he's relatively safe hanging out here until they clear that out. And that might slow down their push. Animal Mother is going to take a lot of damage though over on the Aqua Valve, engaging with the Jaeger, who will get the kill. That's NAM, but he's going to be refragged instantly from the Buck playing in VIP. That's Bing Bong getting the kill there. That is even man count, and Big Chi is going to be trying to hold them down, but giving up that angle allowed his teammate to die. Now Raikai getting a kill, but Plute is going to refrag onto Raikai, and now it's still an even man count. See Bon Bon getting some damage down onto the balcony. Big Chi is going to take out Bing Bongs, and now the defense still has that man advantage. Only 15 seconds remaining. Pluto is going to see that Maestro take him out. Bon Bon off the board, but it's still a 2v1, now a 1v2, and none v2, as Zarin Asta is going to get the final 2 kills of that round.
I mean, Zarin coming in big, coming in clutch, as I believe my headset screwed up. But, yeah, again, the AUG coming into play, getting the kills that it needed to pick up in the round. But I have to say that a lot of that round reflected on the attack and how slow they paced. When the attack pace is way too slow, when there's no engagements by 1 minute in the round, you know you've done something wrong. You know you're being slow, and you know that you need to pick it up as fast as you possibly can. I mean, they're going to elect to bring a little bit of a different build this time, or a different composition, should I say, and it's going to be towards the Lion player of all things. Lion, really interesting operator to be playing. He's more of a roam clear operator, trying to get the attackers into the building itself, and trying to clear out and get pings, get intel as to where those pesky roamers are. But regardless, I definitely think that the attackers last round, they did not play it quick enough. They needed to be a little bit more aggressive, they needed to be a little bit more dominant, and they needed to have more engagements by the 1 minute mark. I mean, there was nothing going on for them, and then they had that explosive 20-second meta execute, and none of it worked out for them. You gotta wonder why. Well, it's because obviously Arcadia was not built for those 20-second metas. They were not comfortable attacking that site, and they simply could not get the kills that they needed in time. Their mechanical play was very subpar, and Butler, they took advantage of that. They were able to get really nice crossfire angles left up on Arcadia, and they played it out to their fullest advantage, thus leaving a nice 2k, I believe, for Zarin. Yeah, it was a 2k with the AUG. That was really great on his part to do so. And otherwise, I mean, the kills are pretty spread out. Unfortunately, Bon Bon, he did get 2 assists for himself, but he didn't get any kills, and he died.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He had the ult in hand, so he certainly could have gotten a kill, but just not lucky enough, I suppose. Looking at the other lineup, I want to point out they have the mirror this time, which is pretty common, being downstairs in that kitchen hole. This is also very commonly the second site. So they're not doing anything with the sites to throw off the other team. They're just holding out the norms that we would expect to see. But if they aren't able to clear out these mirror windows, they're going to have a hard time pushing that service door. So I'm curious what the attack will do. Commonly, an upstairs hold also will come out, as the defenders don't want to give that verticality. We did see Raikai and Bon Bon up above on the Vigil and the Legion, but I also see that the Jaeger is above. So if the attackers realize that they're just giving so many people upstairs and only having 2 people down below on site, well, that's Nam getting a kill on the Plute, so it doesn't matter. But I was saying they could try and rush the site, but in this case, I don't think they're realizing that that's an option for them.
They may not. Yeah, unfortunately, you said it, the Lion went down. I mean, he's got his kills, right? He's got a 1.0 KD. Good enough for him. As Raikai, he'll take some damage. Wow, Animal Mother cutting that off and getting a double kill for, I believe, whoever it is, right? Raikai, unfortunately, at the butt of the barrel. And he takes the hit, he takes the death, and now it's already a 4-on-3. Bing Bong is going to be taking some damage, though. Not quite sure from where, but I'm going to have to assume it's from a C4 out of all things. And I actually don't think there's any C4s. No, there's no C4s, so it might have been just an explosion of his own doing. I know we heard a little bit of an explosion going off, but the attackers, they're going to be sighted towards Blue and towards Sunrise. This could very well be a nice push for them if they're able to get themselves in position in time. It's really up to the defenders and how well they play off this roam, how well they're able to continue this roam and grant some kills for themselves. You got 2 players currently roaming. They're gonna have to find their way back to the objective, but most importantly, they're gonna have to get some kills while doing so. Enham's gonna pick up one for himself, but unfortunately, the Legion going down to Mutt. That's a blue bar hold for you, and now blue bar player is down by Enham once again. He's going off on a tear for a double kill. Out of all things, C4 gets ripped, it gets pulled out, and there you have it. Kai gets one Bing Bong, no whole refrag, and it's already a 1-on-1. 30 seconds left on the clock, as now you got Bing Bong. He's gonna have less than favorable health, half health we'll call it, and Kai, he's got full health and the Vector on his side. Unfortunately, though, the attack does not have diffuser in hand, so Bing Bong not only will have to get the kill, but he'll have to get the diffuser if he indeed wants to plant. This is a really interesting engagement to be played out. You got Kai, he's waiting, he's trying to swing. He unfortunately does not get the kill, but that's a lot of damage for Bing Bong, and already a kill for Kai as he gets it with, out of all things, the shotgun.
The backup shotgun, not the greatest range, but unfortunately for the Buck, that range didn't favor them either, having their shotgun pulled out. Didn't have the AR activated, had the shotgun attachment opened up, and that really kind of sealed the deal for him. He wasn't going to be able to do much there, so he loses out in that engagement. Unfortunate again, but the defense holding out once more. That's 2 rounds in a row for them. Now they're going to have to go to that tertiary site, and it's going to be the Penthouse Theater. Oftentimes we will see it, depending on the team, it will be Blue Bar and Sunrise or this site. I think this site in recent times has fallen out of favor, but to see them trying it out here, I am curious of what the hold will look like. They certainly need some hard breach denial for this one on that back wall of the Penthouse into VIP, and I do have the Bandit in hand. And then they also have the Echo drone to help gather some information, with the Mira also playing as a twofer for that kind of information game. I like the load ups I'm seeing. You mentioned before the attackers were not bringing much to help deny the roam and flank game, but now they do have the Nomad in their pocket in that lineup. So I'm liking both sides making adjustments here. The only concern I have is now you only have the hard breach of the Buck and the Hibana. That's not going to really open up big holes in the walls. So if they're going to try and get a plant by moving into Penthouse through that VIP wall, going to be very limited in the amount of space they can open up. The lines of sight will be limited. So I'd be a little concerned for them on how they're going to push this site.
I have to wonder, was I behind that entire time?
Maybe just a little bit, but
maybe
you know,
just a little bit.
We move on.
Oh man, I was behind. That was decent play-by-play too. Oh man, that makes me so sad. That makes me so sad. This is the issue with clean feed, is that you don't get to see the perspective of the actual observer, or rather the producer. So you can't be on the same seconds. You have to basically sync up every now and then with the observer. And if, you know, in a play-by-play scenario, you're not synced up, you could basically get screwed over by it. But regardless, we will go on. The show must go on. As now Penthouse, like you had spoken of previously, will be the site of choice. I don't like Penthouse. I don't like it being played. It's not in the meta. It's not anything special. I prefer Blue and Sunrise just because of the vertical play that can be utilized, not only by the attack, but by the defense. And honestly, I don't get why anybody would choose Penthouse, but something that's going to be chosen is the site. Actually, no, the hold, I'm gonna say. The hold from Office. When it comes to Capkin and his whole thing, he'll be getting a kill, though. That's a headshot for Raikai with the Capkin, I believe SMG, if I am correct. That's Animal, unfortunately, going down. Your sole hard breacher, so you can't get any of the Penthouse walls open, which is normally a huge staple in the attacking strategy when it does come to Penthouse. So already putting Arcadia at a huge disadvantage coming to that. They're going to have to take things entirely soft breaching. Now, Blackbeard, he'll be on the board for Arcadia, so this could be actually huge. If he gets in that one-on-one face check engagement, then he could very well win that out. I'm gonna like to see that. I'm definitely gonna like to see that.
Pushing in the hookah right now, and that's Raikai engaging, but he's not gonna see them. He's gonna run away, take a lot of damage in his back, but he does not get taken out. A lot of damage coming out, but they do still have the man advantage on that defense side. There's only a minute remaining here. They're really limited on what they can do here. They also haven't taken care of the electric shock on that wall from the Bandit. So Hibana being off the board, only left with the buck to open up the wall. They're not even going to be able to do it, and everyone is getting stuck in that hookah area. Bing Bong, though, is going to take out Bon, so they are getting some kills, trying to bring it back closer. Raikai going to get some damage done. Kojo does get a TK, but then he does clean up on Raikai at the same time, so it's an even man count, but they only have 30 seconds to push site, and they don't have any good lines of sight. They're going to have to opt to push into the theater doorway, but at the end of the white hallway there is NHAM getting a kill on the Bing Bong, bringing it to the man advantage for them. And now these attackers, 15 seconds remaining, only 2 of them. No hard breach is possible. They're going to have to just funnel in here. Mutt is getting caught on the wall, not sure where to go. Didn't even clean up the camera, and NM's going to get an easy kill. It's all up to Kojo with the shield in front of him, but 1 second left on the board. He's not going to be able to get anything done here. That's going to be another defense win. 3 in a row, getting that full rotation of the sites.
You know what's really interesting? This was Arcadia's pick. And when you're on attack, specifically in Coastline, and you choose the map, mind you, you're supposed to kind of know what you're doing. I mean, it realistically is all about getting the main kills. It's all about getting as many kills as you possibly can leading up to the execute on site. It normally turns into a team deathmatch, I will not lie, unless you're on kitchen and service and you seem to get a plan in the site. But for the most part, you don't really see those types of engagements going on. My point here is that it seems like the attackers are really lost. It seems like they're really confused and they're really indecisive as to where they want to go during the round. And that's extremely concerning because, mind you, again, this is their map pick. This is something that they should be well versed on, but it realistically seems like they're not. And pulling out Blackbeard and not getting kills with him, again, very concerning. You got a TK, by the way. I believe, actually, it was Kojo's first kill. It was Kojo's first kill with Blackbeard. He got a kill, but he got a TK as well, which further put the attack of Arcadia at a disadvantage going into that. And it's just, so far, it's really not looking good for them. They're supposed to know what they're doing. They consciously chose Coastline. So the whole thought process has to be that they either have something up their sleeve or they have better mechanical play than Butler, which so far it doesn't seem to be true on either front. So you really have to question, why choose Coastline? What was the thought process behind that? And is Butler more well-versed than you on Coastline? And will that translate over to Villa, a map that Butler specifically chose? We're really going to have to question that.
It's a good question. And the other thing I have to mention is they keep bringing Buck, and they could have gone below, took care of some of those bandit charges, and they didn't. So that was proved fatal later in the round. They had to funnel through doorways. But you bring that utility and you don't even use it properly, it's just a little bit of a head scratcher.
Well, you also have to think what happened to a hard breacher. The hard breacher got killed at the first few seconds of the round. So regardless, there was nothing to have been done about the walls and penthouse.
Well, he does have the hard breach in pocket, the Buck, so don't forget that. They still had that in pocket.
You're true.
But...
You're right. You're right. You do got the hard breach charge.
But that is only one little charge. It doesn't do a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
You probably don't want the Hibana entry fragging, like you mentioned. Getting killed early did still hurt them a lot. Now we are seeing again, they're slowing down. Like you had mentioned this before, their push was really slow on this bomb site in the first round, and they get to go back to the hookah bomb site, which they're at right now, and they're still struggling here. 1 minute in, they don't even have full control over here. They're going to get some damage. No, and actually it didn't even hit. Looks like he missed all those shots on the right guy, and he's going to get some damage onto the Blackbeard instead. So that engagement coming out in the favor of the defense. But hey, Animal Mother in the meantime is going to take out NHAM, and he's been a thorn in their side. 6 kills already, but none coming out in this round as he's already off the board. That does give those attackers a little bit of an advantage now, but they have half a round killed and not a lot to show for it. But looking at their lineup and where their positions are, they do have a little bit of an advantage here over an Aqua. No one's able to really hold them off fully. If they can just clear out Raikai, they might be able to get a push here.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, with the main fragger of the defense being down for Butler, this could prove a really great advantage that Arcadia needs to jump on as quick as they possibly can. They only have 1 minute to do so, and it doesn't look all too good for them. It looks like they're falling back into the theme of them being all too methodical, slowing down their play too much, and it's going to turn into that 20-second meta execute with the big explosive execute, but they really weren't able to hack it. They weren't able to do it because there were so many angles, so many masterful, elegant angles being held against the attack that again, they just weren't able to keep up with it. I mean, you got a player playing around the I believe it's like the benches area, or I'm not even quite sure, but you know what I mean. You got the mute playing tucked away in the corner of this site, which you could very easily peek out. Unfortunately, though, Bon, he's been down. The player with the Alda, not very good of a situation for Butler to find themselves in. And again, this could very well turn out to be a round in the favor of Arcadia. It just has to be that they collapse on the site at the right time. About 15 seconds left on the clock, and it doesn't seem like an all too favorable site for Arcadia. And yet, they still have the kills to show for it. Darren's gonna go down, and you got Ella, the remaining player left on the board, not at full health, but yet not in the worst possible situation to have. Animal's gonna try to plant this one out. If Ella's able to get the kill, this could prevent the entire round from being won, but indeed, it will not. Rakai's gonna try to make the rotation. Unfortunately, though, getting bested by the player with the L85, and Mutt Grinds is going to take that kill for us and finish off the first round win for the attackers.
Yeah, well, job well done. They did end up pushing in. It was a little late in the round, but they took it a little bit quicker than last time. Last time it was 20 seconds. This time they had a little bit more time to play with, and kills did fall in their favor in that case, which proved to be what they needed, as they had that 3-man advantage at the end of the round, getting the plant down. Raikai, it's a lot to do to try and get 3 kills and a defuse. He wasn't even able to get 1, so that looked a lot better coming out from Arcadia. They're going to have to find 2 more, though, if they want to find that even round split before going to their defensive half. And we do see that it's going to be Hookah again, but the lineups are a bit different. One pick that I want to highlight, though, that Ying pick. That is very interesting. We've seen her utilized in Pro League a little bit more often now with the ADS changes, and only seeing Wamai having so many discs, no shield. That if they can burn it out properly, I hope they don't waste the Yings, but if they can burn it up properly, if they do have the throwables on the Hibana, they could very well use that Ying to execute and win this round.
I mean, yeah, it definitely is a possibility. It's a possibility to just even use the Ying for roam clear in the case that Arcadia wants to speed up that portion of the round, trying to kill out Raikai and trying to prevent the presence from lasting any longer on that side when it comes to theater. But I still think that Arcadia, they're going to have a really steep hill to climb. I mean, they won last round, yes, but by the skin of their teeth. It was the last second by the time that Hibana planted, and if that plant specifically can get wasted in time as much as possible, or even the diffuser being in the hands of Butler, again, it could very well fall into the hands of the defense. It just takes one dominant play in the round. It takes one C4 from below to capture the entire round out of Arcadia's hands. That is how fragile their attacking rounds on Hookah Billiards have been. So in the case that Butler gets an upper hand, even with kills, even when it comes to shutting down a plan early round, it could still cause a win for the defense. We really have to keep that in mind. In Arcadia themselves, they can't be making any mistakes right now. They cannot afford to make any mistakes. They really have to keep up, especially when it comes to their attacking rounds, because we have talked about Coastline. It's a pretty attacking-sided map, more attacking-sided than most maps are, and for them to be losing it out this harshly really is a testament to how well Butler plays, but also how weak Arcadia is right now on their attacks.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the drone economy, and they still have plenty of drones, but they just wasted 3 on Rai down below, and no one's there to execute on those drones. So it's essentially a waste of drones, because that information will no longer be relevant in about 15 seconds, and they're not going to push them. So he could move, and then that information's wasted. The drones are wasted. So I would like to see that get cleaned up a little bit, utilize those drones a little more wisely. But luckily, they do still have a decent amount of drones in their pockets, at least 4 I'm counting on the board. And so that's a decent amount, but still halfway through the round, you've already lost over half your drones and no kills have been found for it. It's just a little bit of a waste of utility in my eyes. And this attack, yet again, is stalling out. This time, they haven't found that opening kill yet, like we saw last time. And halfway through the round, we do see Mutt, as I'm saying that, he is going to push on Raikai, but pushing by himself here, and then also no drones to help with it, he could get caught out here if he's not careful. Rai, though, might not be looking the right directions. These 2 players look like they're just about to engage right now. He's going to push up on him. They're going to run into each other, and the sledge is going to come out on top. That's Mutt Grinds, and he's going to get refragged instantly, though. And I'm getting that kill, and he's engaging with the man on Aqua Buff, but he's going to get taken out now. That's going to be an animal mother, and now they have that man advantage that they utilized last time. They're up 4-3. The Ink's going to start using those Candelas, trying to get a push, but he's going to slow that down. Bon will be flash still, so if they push here, but they're not looking like they are. That Elo grenade going to slow him down. Kojo, though, going to kill on Zarin Astra. They do have now a 2-man advantage. And now it's back to a 1-man advantage. Bon pushing up with the shotgun in hand. That takes out Flute. And now it's a 2v3 for these defenders. Only 20 seconds left for them to kill. You mentioned how fragile this attack can be. And now Animal Mother off the board. The Alda in hand gets another one. That's Kojo off the board. It's all up to Bing Bong. And you have only 10 seconds to get this plant or find 2 kills. He's going to engage with the Elda in the corner here, and he's going to win that fight and almost win a second one, but he has to find him in a second here, and he's not going to do it, just missing those shots narrowly at the end of the round. Butler finding the 4th round of defense. That's going to give them a nice advantage going into their attacking rounds, but one more defensive round still remains.
Most definitely. I mean, it's 4-1 right now. It only gives one more round for the attack to at least try to even things out in their own way going on to their defense-sided rounds, but even on Coastline, you want to try to get more of an even score, more of a 3-3 rather than a 4-2 because of the fact that it is a little bit more attack-favored, and so far, the attack, it's really been struggling. The attack of Arcadia has indeed, they've had some rough times. They've been winning, again, by the skin of their teeth. And it just, they're falling short. They're falling short at every possible angle. They're falling short at a lot of different ways. And just so many things are going wrong for them. They're making tiny mistakes, and it's snowballing to be this big, huge round loss for them all at the last second. They have a huge issue when it comes to pacing in the round, and on Coastline, that issue gets exacerbated so badly to the point where it could very easily lose you rounds. And so far, it has been losing Arcadia rounds. I mean, at the last second, they keep on trying to push in, they keep on trying to get the kills for themselves, but so far, it just doesn't seem to be working out for them. And honestly, I'm going to say this so sparingly, I just think that this is more of a ranked stylistic play from them.
Yeah, I can't say it any better than that. It's not to be mean either. It's just what it is, right? We haven't seen the strategies, or at least we haven't seen the coordination on attack that we'd like to see in the comp leagues like this. And so hopefully they can learn from this, go back, watch what was going on. Hopefully they recognize, yeah, our drone utility not being used well, our timing just taking too long on these pushes at a lot of the time, and they could clean it up still. So there's still positivity we can take away from it, but overall, yes, it hasn't looked the greatest. It has been a little lackluster on their attacking side. I'm curious to see, though, will Butler have the same problem, or will they have a little bit more of a well-coordinated attack? But this round still needs to be played out before we can answer that question. We do see that they are starting to get some control in different parts of the map. The Buck over here on the surface entrance, but he's not even going to open up the door. They haven't really contested anything yet. Animal Mother being that entry frag yet again, and they've taken a lot of damage. You could lose your hard breach very early on, and that seems like it could be a big mistake. Bon, though, over in kitchen, does take some damage. Not sure where from, though. It looks like Sunrise, and he's going to get killed from that direction as well. Kojo getting that opening kill for his team. Bon having a rough game so far, and that's the opening kill for the attackers. And they're doing it a little bit quicker this time compared to what we've seen in past rounds.
Most definitely. I mean, you can definitely tell that the attack is a lot more comfortable attacking this site when it comes to just gaining horizontal advantage, gaining vertical advantage. You got the Buck already trying to move into VIP, but you got a pesky roamer on his heels. It's going to be Legion trying to even things up and trying to get kills for his team, but while I was talking about that Mutt Grinds, he's going to get one. That's the Ash R4C coming into advantage, picking up a headshot, unfortunately, on Raikai, man, who hasn't been doing all too well this game either, but you still have the 3 remaining players up, and all 3 of them are either going neutral or they're going positive, so you can at least take that away as a positive of this match, that Butler's remaining players, they can frag out, and they have that potential to do so we really got to keep that in mind as we understand and analyze the remaining bits of this match. But so far, the attackers, they seem to be closing in on the defender's position. You got Bing Bong, he picks up one for himself, but Jaeger coming in for the flank, coming in for the clutch, he picks up the player above Bing Bong, and essentially shutting down the vertical presence. Not something good that you want to have going on for your team, but altogether a saving grace for Butler, as now Kai can indeed go into kitchen, at least without having the fear of being fragged out the second he tries to rotate. And Ham trying once again to even up the score scoreline, picking up Animal Mother, your resident hard breacher. But Mutt Grinds, he's gonna come back. He's gonna get that kill on Enham. But Kai coming in once again with the Nitro Cell to kill off Pluto. He only has 2 more players remaining to have to go up against. But Mutt Grinds, he is trying to go for the defuse, and successfully he will do so. That's Sophia, though, to be holding on his flank, holding on his rotations, holding on basically everything that he must. But weirdly, you have Mutt Grinds, I believe, proning? Question mark? You have him proning? I'm not even sure what's going on with that, but they're trying to take a crossfire advantage, trying to get as many passive angles as they possibly can leverage in order to watch this bomb. Now, in the case of the courtyard, we see Sophia. She's trying to get some hits, get some damage taken upon herself, though. Unfortunately, less than 25, but you have Ash that will take advantage of that situation for Mutt Grinds Games to get the R4C kill and finish off the round.
Yeah, second round for them, as that is their attacking half coming to a close. Unfortunately, I think it was a bit disappointing for Arcadia. They only got 2 out of the 6 rounds, and now they're going to have to go into their defense. Now, maybe this is an odd game of Coastline. Maybe this is a defender-sided one. They could still pull it back here, so I'm just going to wait to see. This round, I think, will be telling. Can Butler show us a little bit more coordination? Can they show us a little more success on their attack? It'd be disappointing if they did, though, because this isn't even in their map choice. So that would be a huge blow, I think, to Arcadia to have such a disappointing attacking half and then watch their opponents show them how it's done in a way. So I'm curious to see their mentality going forward if that does happen. The second map could seep into that matchup on that map. So you'd hate to see it for their sake. On the other side, though, Butler, they are going on to attack with a 4-2 advantage, normally, at least on Coastline. That is a good thing for them. So we'll see if they're able to take advantage of those round that they have, like, I don't know, cushion, what do you call it? They have a 2-round cushion, as that is their advantage. They just need to find 3 more rounds here in regulation, and they'll take this map, and it'll be an upset for Arcadia if that happens. Look at their lineup, though. It is a bit different. They don't have a Jaeger. They don't have a Wamai. So throwables will be very useful here. They do have the Ying on the attacking side, so that could prove to be pivotal for them. It could also prove to be fatal for those defenders. They have no way of countering this Ying or the grenades coming out, flash grenades or any of it. So I'm a little concerned looking at that lineup. However, no hard breach will really be able to go down with the Cade and the Bandit on the board.
You know, I really have to question bringing 2 hard breach denial operators. I mean, realistically on Coastline, you only need 1, either Kaid or Bandit, and in the place of those players, you can bring Jaeger. I just don't understand it because of the fact that you have so many throwables, like you said, including Ying, and they're just not going to be able to do anything about it. There is nothing to deny that utility, and that in itself could prove to be entirely, just like you said, fatal. For the, I want to bring home this point. I really want to bring home this point because it is so important to bring somebody with the ability to clear the utility of the attackers, to destroy it, to deny it at its very core. And to not have somebody to do that is to have somebody that is allowing all of that utility to be brought onto the site, to be brought onto the remaining defenders, and potentially kill all of them. So really, just keep that in mind during this round. We're going to have to see that played out. But yet again, it's not even going to matter with the wall denial operators being up on the board because you have Thatcher up on the board as well. And thus far, there is no Bandit tricking going down. So Bandit just going to be rendered useless at this point, and Pluto as well. Now the Thermite EMPs indeed, or rather Thatcher, sorry, EMPs have been successfully brought upon the walls, and so have the Habana X Kairos charges. Now that's realistically all they need to open up in order to secure a plan, but now it really comes down to the area control and such, the potential defuse. But Zarin, in the meantime, unfortunately has been killed out. The man going 3 and 5, unfortunately not getting all too many kills for his team, but Pluto, just in the same moment, off on the rotate, does get DBNO'd. Big Kai is going to, unfortunately, secure that one, and Bon Bon getting another for himself.
Yeah, Bing Bong off the board. That gives him the man advantage on attack. And as we mentioned, the Yin Candela is coming into effect. He's able to utilize it, and realizing no one is in here to deny the plant. He could plant here potentially, but he is going to keep getting zapped by the Evil Eye. They're not paying attention to it. Bon will get a kill on the Kojo in the meantime. Now it's all up to Mutt Grinds. He's going to take out that Ying, pushing with the diffuser in hand, but Bon will refrag, and that'll win the round for Butler. That attack looking really pretty good, I would say. They take a little bit of time, but they were utilizing it well just to get that back wall opened up. The thing that really proved to be fatal is they just had no denial and just getting caught not watching their angles that they should have been watching. We saw the man rotating in billiards just get caught from Aqua, and he's the only one who's there to watch that angle and just getting tripped up the defense. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but they don't look coordinated. They didn't look coordinated on attack. Arcadia now down 3 rounds, 5-2. Butler looking like they have the plan here on Coastline. They're going to maybe steal this map from Arcadia.
They could very well do so. It's going to take a lot of determination from the side of Arcadia to pull this one back. As now they finally brought the Jaeger pick. Thank you. Kojo's going to be the one on that, and hopefully his ADSs will secure at least some of the utility that's going to be brought on the side of Butler. Unfortunately, they're not going to be bringing the Ying this time, as now they've switched her out for the Yana. Yana. I like Yana being played on Coastline. I think she's a really important operator when it comes to roam clear. I think she's an important operator when it comes to gaining intel as to where the exact positions of Arcadia's players are going to be. And I just think she's a really good player with the G36 in general. She's got a lot of fragging potential, and with it being on the player of Kai, we will most likely bring a lot of that just so. And also, I mean, you got frag grenades. That's a plus, right?
Right, and I was going to point out last time they didn't have any frag grenades. I thought they'd bring the sledge or something, but they didn't. And so maybe that was a miss for them, but it didn't really seem to matter. They had that attacking favor after getting those. They lost the opening kill actually, but they got 2 back, and then they had the man advantage from the rest of the round they're on. And I think that the lineup definitely looks better, as you mentioned. Not bringing the double hard breach denial. They only have the Cade, not the bandit this time. They're going to be bringing that Jaeger. That'll help a lot. The other thing they have is a mute. I think that could be useful for denying a lot of the drones. I think the drone game was decent on Butler's side. They at least had the information they needed to start pushing in. And this time, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to get that information. They are taking a little bit of time here. The Thatcher probably helping the Headbana to try and get this wall open yet again, just like we saw last time from the roof. But it's taking a little bit of time. Bonbon's not even on the roof right now. So I'm just wondering, what are they doing? Where's the coordination happening? It's already been a minute, and they don't really have any control yet. And they haven't even moved inside the building, it seems.
X-Kyroses are now going to be put down on the main wall of Hookah. That'll take at least some part of the wall off, but I believe the mute charge is going to prevent that from happening on the remaining wall. And honestly, I think that's truthfully enough to do a little bit of damage. As now the pistol from Kaid, out of all people, is going to be brought. It will not hit the head of the player head glitching, and thus the engagement will be a bust. But Pluto, he's still going to be trying it. He's going to be trying that engagement with the pistol, but Kai, in the same time, gets a headshot with the G36. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our first kill of the round. Smoke, though, will be thrown out as canisters. He only has 1 left, and there's still a minute in the round to go. So not the best possible control of using out your smoke canisters, but Pluto gets, I believe, a 1-tap was that with the pistol from Kaid. Man, that thing can do big things, but Kai's gonna be doing even more big things now with this frag grenade, hopefully picking up yet another player, but Mutt Grinds picking up Enham. Fortunately, though, that'll be a refrag for you, as the Jerry 36 coming out, coming strong, coming in clean for the 3rd player from Big Kai. Question is, will he be able to get the ace? I guess only time will tell, as now Hookah will be the next place that the attackers control. Zaren's going to pick up 1, unfortunately stopping out the potential of Big Kai getting the ace, but Kojo's the remaining player left on the board. Unfortunately, he's put in a 1v3 scenario for himself, and with really nice crossfire angles being held, that'll be him picking up 1, but still, crossfire angles being held for the attack, and there's not a whole lot of potential for him to be winning this out. The attackers now know his exact positioning. Fortunately, the attacker's going to find himself in that position to get such a kill, with the Nomad air jab being down, and I believe Jaeger was just pushed to the wall?
Yeah, the air jab caught him out, and then Bonbon cleaned him up. A 3K coming out for Big Chi. Really good job from him. Got one of them with the frag grenade, as you just mentioned, so really good job. That's now all the rounds in a row, or to be specific, excuse me, on the attack. And so Butler really does look like they're just more coordinated. They know what they're doing a little bit more on this map. We saw that they haven't struggled so far on their attack like we saw from Arcadia. They're on map point now at 6-2, and this is Arcadia's pick. That's really alarming for them. Hopefully they have a lot to learn from this. Again, I'll try and put the positive spin on it. We're going to see Bon. He was flirting with that Dokkaebi pick. Looks like he might be 6, and he is over to the, well, he was going with Thatcher. Now he's going Sledge. So now they have double that frag grenade potential. They're going to have bring the Sledge and the Iana. So I like that. We did see that they weren't really putting those ADSs, at least I didn't see them catch anything. There was a nade kill, so that just goes to show they were still utilized properly. And now they have 4 of them. So this could be what they need. Just clear out some of these positions, throw a couple of grenades, get a kill, get in, get the plant down. Maybe that's the mentality coming out. I do think the Iana is also really useful, but I didn't see many of her drones being used last time. Maybe that's just due to that meat jammer, and they just didn't want to bother. I'm not quite sure, but at the very least, it didn't end up mattering for them. They still got the round. We're going to see them go Penthouse, though. You said earlier you don't like the site. I'm not a huge fan of it either. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think this is just going to be the last round then, because they went to the site you don't like?
Definitely. It's going to be the last round because they went to the site that I hate. For sure.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's the reason.
Yep, that is definitely the reason. No, I think actually Big Kai, the reason why he didn't use out the Gemini clones a whole lot, if that's what you're referring to, was the fact that he was literally getting so many kills that he didn't even have the time to do so. I mean, that man had or woman, or them, they, whoever, they had the diffuser in him. Oh, all of them are him? Okay, so I got a note from production that all of them are him. Okay, cool. But anyways, Big Kai, unfortunately, didn't really have too much time to play the Yano role that you're supposed to be playing because of the fact that he essentially played the fragger role, he played the support role, he played the diffuser role, and he played the flank denial role all in one. Essentially, just doing everything for the team. I mean, that man got, I believe, a 3 or 4K at the very least. Just going crazy in the scoreboard, most definitely. And definitely solidifying himself, we'll say, as the MVP of that round. But speaking of this round, we're going to be seeing a little bit of roam clear going on for the side of Butler. You got the Yana Gemini clones coming in. And so far, just a whole lot of droning, a whole lot of gaining intel. And now as the attack move on to Aqua, they're gaining control of that. They're trying to gain control of VIP, essentially just squishing out the last remaining presence of the defenders in every single area that is not the objective. Big Kai, I knew that was going to happen. Getting the kill with a well-placed frag grenade will indeed determine the first frag of the round, and a good one at that. But you got Animal, he'll be coming right back for blood, and him going down, unfortunately, not able to do as much of a presence on the round as he did previously, but Kojo picks up one for himself, and now Big Kai coming back for more blood. Still a 3-on-2, so the attack is indeed in favor of this round. Frag grenades will indeed be thrown out, and thus they will not hit anything. Now I believe you got a Legion moving up the stairs, trying to make an impactful flank, but will not do so, as now Big Kai gets the 2 remaining kills on the round, and thus shutting down round 9 and the game itself.
Yeah, wow, he just had a really good game, didn't he? Just cleaning up that round. He pretty much cleaned up the round before that, so just came alive in those last 2 attacking rounds. Really good game. 14 kills dropping this map in only 9 rounds, excuse me. So that's a really good kill to round differential. I do like to see it come out. We did see that Arcadia chose this map. We thought that they would be more, oh, we're going to rely on our fragging, but that was kind of the opposite. Butler came in, guns a-blazing, and they took them down 7-2. Very fast map for them. And then the next map is going to be that map of Villa. So after seeing that, the coordination not being there either, I'm very scared for Arcadia on this next map of Villa. That doesn't bode well for them if they can't even coordinate on Coastline, which arguably doesn't require as much coordination, at least strategy-wise. But I do believe we could read an advertisement here before going on. I think we might have a quick break. Am I wrong, production, on that?
We indeed will have a quick break.
Okay, so I'll read quickly from our sponsors before we go on that quick break. So we got Meta here. Meta Pro Gaming is a full-service esports management, developmental, and consulting company. Meta provides esports coaching, college esports management, arena design, and equipment. Visit them at metaprogramming.gg to learn more. And then we also have some video sponsors, so we'll throw that on, and then we'll be back after a short break here. So thank you. NECC Sports. We're watching a Rainbow6 matchup between Arcadia and Butler. Butler just won on Coastline 7-2. We would go into the second map of Villa. This is Butler's choice as well. So they seem to have that advantage. They're also starting on defense, which is interesting. I do want to quickly jump to a word from one of our sponsors quick, just to make sure we get to it. So Respawn products are forged for all-day comfort for content creators, professional and casual players, or anyone looking to upgrade their setup. Respawn has been battle tested and achieves a level of comfort that leaves competitors in the dust. Live to play another day with Respawn, your battle ready partner. So thank you, Respawn, for that. We do have, I believe, everyone in the lobby. I do want to mention, though, Jenna had to leave. So now I am joined by Mason here, Caro.
Hello.
Thought I would mention it. Don't want to leave that just unanswered mystery hanging.
I'm Jenna. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, this is Jenna, just in another form.
Yep. All right, well, Ku. All right, well, Ku. I just wanted to ask you a few questions here because I did just join in here. How has your day been so far?
Oh, it's been good, man. How has your day been?
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic. I had a little issues coming in here. The first part, I was supposed to join in here early on, but I had to get subbed out, and now I am subbing in for the person that did not actually sub me out. You actually had to sub me out, but now I am subbing in, so I'm glad to actually be here. So Villa is where we're going to be starting. Arcadia on defense and Butler on attack. And Villa itself, I want to pick your brain about on the map. Can you actually just unpack that and what are your thoughts on Villa itself?
So from what I've seen in recent times, I think with the meta change with the ADSs, Wamai no longer having the shield, I do think it's become more of a balanced map. In some cases, we might even see attackers have an advantage depending on the team. Some teams really seem to have good coordinated pushes. I will say it does require that coordination, so obviously it depends on the team. But I think this might be one of the most balanced maps in the game right now, if not the most balanced map. If you try and compare it to anything like Cafe or Oregon or even Theme Park, those are all really defender-sided maps. It feels this might be one of those perfectly balanced maps. This is like the old Border, it feels, where it was very balanced. So that's my thoughts here. The bans coming out, though, we do see that Thatcher and Buck are banned. What do you make of that Buck one? The Thatcher, pretty standard, but that Buck seems a little bit different.
I feel like the Buck is more of a replacement for the Sludge ban, or just more Sludge in general, because Buck can do it at a much higher rate of speed, and he can get that cleared out very, very quickly and get those angles opened as soon as he can. Compared to a Sledge, you actually need to enter the room compared to, I don't know, if you want to rappel in a window to open up that vertical. When it comes to Sledge, you just have to open it up. You have to actually walk into the room and then open it up. And the Capcan ban I am questioning a little bit because it must be a VOD reviewer or just could be a joke banning someone's main. But I'm not a big fan of that pick whatsoever because Capcan is not as viable as an operator as I guess this team is believing.
Right. Well, I think that comes on the side of Arcadia, and it was because Raikai played him last time. I think people did get caught up on those traps, and he did get some kills with the weapon in hand on that Capcan. Mm-hmm. So I think that is more of a target ban. And you weren't here last map, so you wouldn't, it's understandable that you'd be questioning that pick. But I still question it, even if it is a target ban. I'm not a fan of target bans. I like the meta change, right? Trying to shape the meta with the bans, give yourself a little bit of an advantage strategically. In this case, they've left a lot of utility in the hands of those defenders. Valkyrie still on the board, giving that information. Mute, going to be 6 pick away from the Wamai, so that'll slow down some of those drones. We did see Arcadia struggle with their drone economy last map, so that will be something to keep an eye on. Butler did a little bit better. Them being on attack here to start off, it's curious to see what the mutant play. Can they still maintain that good coordination and good economy of the drones? What do you make of these lineups, though?
I definitely like the Ayana pick out of all of them because her ability to actually continue to bring that intel. She has that unlimited amount of intel. Although it is on a cooldown and it obviously is limited to the round, but she can just run in constantly over and over again with her drones without having to risk that life, So to see her on the board is kind of refreshing. Them bringing in Nomad is clearly it's a staple. Nomad is a staple for majority of the maps. You got to cut off those roamers. You got to make sure that you got to relieve some of that pressure whenever it comes to behind you, depending on where you're taking. The ban on the Capcan, I still want to go back on that real quick. The target ban, I don't, like you said, target bans are not a very good thing to really do, especially in competitive play, because you need to remove those operators that bring that that pressure, that tension, and the operators that can mess up your plays and stuff that can actually mess you up compared to an operator that someone just played correctly. You got to be able to counter an operator like that through either an IQ or just using your eyes in general, because Kapkan's traps are not that hard to take care of unless you are in those last second situations where the pressure is high and you're running down to those 30 seconds where you have to rush onto site. I can understand that, but even in those situations, you need to be checking those. And if you are taking that damage, then that is your own fault, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do agree with you. It is your own fault not rotating correctly or wisely in some cases. I do want to go back to that. Iana mentioned that you had her drone here, the Gemini, being thrown in there, as you mentioned, unlimited information. These mute jammers can trip it up, though. Something to keep an eye on. The other thing I want to talk about, though, is that's Big Chi on that, and he dropped 14 kills last map within the 9 rounds that were played. We're going to see a kill coming out, though. That's Animal Mother on to Big Chi, the man I was just talking about. He's not going to have an effect on this round, despite how good he did last map. And that is the opening kill for the defense, and then the engagement will continue. Raikai and Animal dealing damage to each other. They have about the same HP, but Pluto going to take NM down on the red stairs here, and now they have that man advantage for the defense.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate. You start talking about Big Chi and then instantly get shut down right there. A little bit of Caster's curse. Yeah, Caster's curse right there I was about to mention. And then sadly, Neham had to come in, and I believe it was the Legion had to follow up with another kill. Those roams, apparently those air jabs were not set up correctly because they are freely roaming still. Legion is downstairs ready to take care of whoever's left on that red staircase. Jackal needs to take care of him while he can, but now he's been made aware that the Legion is still holding on that red staircase, and he did take care of his mine there. And just by throwing that mine right there, I believe what he's doing there is applying that pressure and wasting that time, because they know at that time that they need to take care of him as soon as they can, unless the Nomad brings up an air jab and cuts it off just right then and there, and they don't have to worry about it at that point. But if they do, if they do not, then they will have to worry about it for a majority of the round, knowing that there is someone behind them at all times.
Yeah, that pressure from Red Stairs seems to be slowing down this push. They are in a 2-man disadvantage, and Rise on such little HP and study, a whiff of a bullet would take him out, and there it is. He's going to get taken out, but Rai does get a refrag. At least Kojo going to take care of Bon. Now it's all up to the last player, but Pluto will take him out while getting hit with an air jab. That's Zarin off the board. That looked like a more dominant round than we had seen on the last map coming out from Arcadia.
That wasn't a flawless, but what was the timer at when that mosh pit just started to unravel?
I believe we're getting down to about 20 seconds, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay, I don't know why I looked at it and I was still at that minute mark for some reason. Mentally, I was still at that minute mark, and I thought it just started taking action as soon as it hit that minute mark, and it was a lot earlier than I thought it would be. But 20 seconds is actually a reasonable time to see those gunfights to actually start to clear out. They actually did bring in IQ this time, something that they should have done when it came to the Kapkan. I'm guessing that they would bring it for the Legion, the Bandits from a vertical angle, the Pulse. Now I was going to say the Ela would work for it as well, but the Pulse even better. Valkyrie cams, all this intel and all this utility that they are bringing to the table right now, they need to bring that IQ. That IQ pick is very viable, and that's definitely what you should have seen when it came to the last map, like I will say again. The Ying pick, he went from the Ayana to a Ying. I guess he didn't really like the idea of where he was before, and I guess he already is uncomfortable with the Ayana pick because of how early on he died. I guess he probably was messing with the drone or something, and he clearly wasn't happy about it. So the Ying pick, the flashes that she brings to the table can either turn the whole around in the favor of the attackers or not do anything at all. I feel like it's a very 50-50 gadget, in my opinion, because if you position yourself in a like a corner or something like that, or the Ying is aware of your position, then you can be messed up. That could clear roamers very, very quickly, or it can clear sight very, very quickly. It just depends on the player, I feel.
Yeah, and last map, again, we weren't here for this. I just want to recap it a little bit so you're aware as well, as some of the viewers might just jump in now. They did bring Ying, both teams, I believe, did bring Ying a few times at the very least. Now, the only thing I would question about it is they didn't seem to push while using those Candelas, at least not very often. They might have done it once or twice. So my feeling on the utility hasn't been that they've been using it properly, not wholly at least. And so that's one thing I would watch out for. I hope that they clean that up a little bit, utilize it, throw it, and then push in with it. You don't want to just throw it and then waste it, and then you don't even utilize the blindness that you might have prompted by throwing it in. In this case, though, Pluto is playing at the top of main stairs, and it's going to slow down this push. It looks like they're trying to do an execution from top, like a horizontal push, going from that study side and game side into the trophy and excuse me, I'm just blanking on that word, statue. And so it's interesting to see that this is the push they're opting for, and they've taken about a minute, and they don't really have any control yet.
Yeah, and having an operator that you need that team communication, you need that intel with. I'm not entirely sure. Please refresh my memory if you've seen any sort of drone going out. And there's a lot of trades going off on the main staircase. That's going to be Jackal being taken down. The Jackal, that operator being down, can actually save a lot of pressure for the roamers in general. And then the Ying getting taken down as well. As I mentioned before, that Ying could do a lot of damage. A lot of trading going off right now. Currently still a 3v3 right now, and it's been evened out. That is the Bandit and the Legion going down right there. The only really serious 2 kills right now have been on the attacking side, and those are the only 2 really impactful kills to really come out of this entire engagement. The Ying losing those flashbangs that you really need for that end game or end round rather, and the Jackal to really deal with that early round, which they have clearly failed to do because both roamers may have been traded out, but they did trade 2 lives as a result.
Yeah, Rai gonna creep up on the main bedroom doorway here. He does not know for sure if someone is around the corner here. It is an even man count, so whoever can get this kill here, they're gonna put themselves in a really good position for their team. Their engagement is gonna come out, and it is gonna be Rai getting that kill onto Kojo, giving the attackers the man advantage now. All up to a pulse with an ump in hand, not the best weapon, and then Mutt grinds. He does have the carbine in hand, and he's gonna engage, but not get a kill. But Bing Bong does onto Rise, and now he's bringing it back to the even man count. 2v2 now. And now a 2v1. The attacker's falling. Bon on his lonesome after Bing Bong took out Enham. And now it's up to Bing Bong and Mutt Grinds to just clutch out the rest of the round. 30 seconds remain. This Nomad on their lonesome, having the diffuser in hand still. So they could possibly do this, but 2v1, 30 seconds. It's not a lot of time to work with. The shots coming up but not finding their target. Missing the shots on to the Jaeger. Bon, 15 seconds remaining here. Going to start pushing into the statue area, trying to find these 2 last remaining defenders. One yet. He's going to get the kill onto Bing Bong, and almost the second he does! That's Mutt Grinds! In the final seconds, that gives the attackers their first round. And an unfortunate series of events as both these defenders rotate the same way and get taken out for it.
Well, there's a lot to unpack right there. I already had enough to unpack in the beginning there, and then that little engagement really had to add more onto my job here. Thanks for that, guys. I definitely want to say that the pull, or rather less the pulse and rather more the Jaeger. The Jaeger rotating off there, the lack of awareness and the lack of either the call up from pulse, but more the lack of awareness, because the fact that there was gunshots coming from statuary and he completely ignored them and decided not to just take the directly into him and then try to escape him somehow by running into Astro, even though he was already in the doorway. And still, with around like 5 seconds remaining, he had plenty of time to still swing that angle and take care of him. So not the best play. He didn't even know where he was at the time. So the Jaeger pushing through definitely lost the defensive round for them. I also wanted to bring up the Ying dying early on, and also bring the Ying in general. Not bringing that intel, or just I said, please correct me if I'm wrong, if they were droning correctly near the middle or end of the round, because if they do not have that intel to use those Ying canisters correctly, then they cannot really clear and actually take care of those operators. And they're pretty much easy kills after you get those Ying flashes on them. So if they do not drone out and get that intel correctly, then they're pretty much useless, unless you're trying to clear sight with little to no intel anyway.
Right, yeah, that's exactly what I think they are doing. They're going to rely on that Ying without having to put drones into the site. Now, the thing you mentioned is, are they droning well? And I would say they droned upstairs well. Then they didn't have the rotation cams to watch for the flanks up those stairways. We saw it. They came up, they got the kills. And so you bring the Nomad, maybe that gives you too much comfort, because a lot of the times those air jets are being placed in a place where they can still get to the top of stairs. They just can't come up onto the landing area. So if they can still peek on the stairway itself and get the kills. And we've seen it happen a few times now. So that's something else to keep an eye on. I would like to see these Nomad air jets being placed a little bit more carefully, we'll say, so that they can catch those defenders, not let them get to those top of the stairways, so they have an easy peek onto these attackers who aren't watching their backs very well. The defense, though, is going to be in the same place. They do have that roam game that we saw was prevalent last time. The Jackal is going to do some work trying to catch them out, but the concern here is the drone work going to be well? Are they going to coordinate well and get a pinch going? I don't see any other attackers trying to support this Jackal on the window.
Yeah, with little to no support, they're going to end up in the exact same situation, isolating those 1v1s that they had with the defenders rather before. They did get the trades off, which is good. Really well played by, I believe it was the IQ and whoever else took down the Legion afterwards. But yes, they did trade them out, which was well played, but they themselves in that situation in the first place to have to worry about getting those trades off. And then we did bring up the Nomad in the past, saying that she was adding too much comfort for the attacking side, but you don't really want to see that. I did notice that she with an air jab or two near the end of her rounds, and she needs to close off those staircases, because if those staircases are not closed off properly, then those rotates will be an issue, as Ying managed to pick up a kill of her own, taking care of one of the roamers with no help of, actually no, that was a help of the Jackal, doing his job properly, and adding that pressure onto that Vigil, adding that location, adding that ping, will add that pressure and kind of bring a little fear to the Vigil, and adding that fear makes him want to have to run around, try to leave the area that he was before to confuse him, and ran straight into Ying's bullets and inevitably brought him to the first kill of the round.
Yeah, and it looks like they're very focused on the Bandit, clearing him out, but they are unaware, I think, that the Lesion was over in that games area. But Big Chi is going to get a kill on the Lesion, as I mentioned it, but the Bandit will refrag onto Zarin, and that's going to give them still 1-man advantage for the attackers. And Animal did take a lot of damage, that Bandit, on a sliver of HP now. But Bing Bong's going to get Kale onto Raikai, and that's going to bring it back to an even man count, doing work, trying to bring this round back to their favor. Another kill coming out from Animal. That's on to Bon Bon. Now they have the man advantage on the defense, and only 30 seconds remains. These defenders starting to come in clutch near the dying moments of this round. The Ying still in play, trying to utilize it, but the ADS is going to catch it out. He does have G8 in hand. That diffuser is down, though, so they're going to have to find the kills if they want to win this round. The attack gonna get a kill on to Bing Bong. That's Big Chi. They do need to find 2 more, though. Kojo getting Enham. It's all up to Big Chi, and he's not gonna do it. Animal getting his 3rd kill for the round, and that's the 2nd round for Arcadia. Their defense on this map already looking just as good, if not better, than what we saw on Coast.
That was really interesting from Animal, because he was with a sliver of HP, maybe around like 10 HP, and he still managed to take out 3 of them. I'm pretty sure the first one did manage to bring him down to that 10 HP, but he did manage to continue on with 2 other kills. That first kill individual was very well played by the Ying. I entirely forgot, because I think it was the Bandit picking up those first 3 kills. Those first 3 kills were game changing, and there was not a lot of trading going off that we saw in the round previously. And with that in mind, taking site is much worse, because those roamers are still there. There's still people holding on site, waiting for you to enter, holding those angles, and you cannot worry about those. And those ADS is in play, which is typically why you think that they would bring the IQ, which they sadly 6-pick for this round, which they should be utilizing. And that's what I feel has been going on so far. These gadgets are not being used properly. The IQ has not been taking care of the gadgets on site. The Nomad, I feel, is not placing those air jabs in the right spot, because clearly those roamers are still being as effective as always. With that IQ off the table, not only just adds the issue of that gadget not being to their disposal, but they weren't using it in the first place anyway. So I guess bringing that soft reach, something that they're probably a little bit more comfortable using and probably a little bit more familiar with, I guess more power to them, because if that's what's going to fix their play, then go ahead, go for it.
Yeah, sometimes we can see that comfort can outweigh the strategic reasoning you might have, but that's always a tricky game to play. Sometimes it can certainly bite you, missing out on some utility, but you really hit the nail on the head. They have been lacking the use of utility. We did see it last map. They brought a Buck, for instance, and then the Buck did not go below, try and help clear out some of the Bandit charges, and so they weren't able to breach into Penthouse on the coastline map, and so we saw that bite them. Then they had no way of opening up the walls. They had to funnel, and they died going through doorways. Here, same thing. IQ's not going below, not doing any of that vertical play she could with her gadget. A lot of these floors are soft. She could go below and destroy a lot of the utility. You've mentioned it. Why are they not using the IQ's gadget properly? Well, I guess if you're not going to use it properly, maybe it's not such a bad thing to switch away. I don't know. That's the only saving grace I can say from switching away from it. But these roamers have been a nuisance, and I get a feeling that Pluto has been on this game, and he feels on his game, watching where these attackers are going to push from, which is that master bedroom push.
Actually, as you can tell, like on the right hand side, it seems like Big Chi actually took over the Nomad role, and Bon Bon took over the Ying role. So it seems like they're actually going to be switching up operators to see if we can actually find mid-game who can actually play the roles better, which they should have probably been doing previously before they went into the competition. And taking off that IQ, I feel like that's what they should have done with the IQ. And Bandit almost gets caught off guard right there, and that flick beautifully got centered right back onto the Jackal. Sadly does get taken down anyway by the Zofia. As I mentioned before, the switch onto Zofia may not have been the best decision, but it looks like he's actually proving me wrong right now in picking up the first frag. There's currently 1 frag in the favor of the attackers, and that's exactly what they want to see, because even if they were evened out with a 5v5, it's still in the favor of the defenders, because they have to just hold sight as the attackers have to come to them, and that's really the advantage that the defenders have.
It seems like a waste of the Ying. No one's playing 90. They just sent a drone over there. So why do that? But you know what? Whatever. If it makes you feel more comfortable, then you do it. They did find out that Valve Cam on the red stairs, but there's going to be a trade. Bonbon and Mutt Grinds killing each other. That's still going to leave the attackers with that man advantage, but the Ying is off the board. Candela was used in 90, which is a waste. So they don't even get to use any of those Candelas. It was kind of any op would have been brought. They probably would have wasted utility, so I guess it's not the end of the world. In this case, they do have the wall of the vault area opened up. That's Rye over there on the ace. And so they're starting to get some work done here, but the time is ticking down. They're getting down to 30 seconds almost. Rye going to jump into that vault area. He's going to have nice lines of sight over into the other bomb site, but he's just going to run into the other bomb site and start planting here in aviation. These defenders don't seem to know what's going on. A nice ring around the Rosie coming out, and Bing Bong going to get a kill onto Zarin. But the plant does go down. It's even man count, 3v3. Now these defenders are going to be on the attack trying to push, but they're going to get caught out. That's one kill. Big Chi getting Bing Bong. It's up to Pluto and Kojo, and Kojo getting a kill onto Big Chi, bringing it back to a 2v2, but they need to get this defused down, and they don't have a lot of time to do it. Pluto near the top of red, trying to find out where these attackers are playing. Nam trying to play over here in the study area. Both of them in the classical hallway. Kojo's going to push up on the study. Does he know that the attacker is right here? And he does, but he doesn't get the kill. It's a nice flick from Nam. He's going to get the kill. And now Pluto on his lonesome going to engage, but get taken out from the prone Rye. And that is a nice win coming out from the attackers, bringing it back to a 2-2 even round count.
Yeah, that was definitely very interesting. You have to give the props to the attacking side because they managed to find that weakness in their play, and they took advantage of it as soon as they did. And went out clear. There's elsewhere one other person on site right now, and that's all we have to worry about. As long as we can isolate this plant and give you that support and make as much noise as possible so they are not aware of the plant going down, we can actually successfully take this site. And like you mentioned in your little string of lines there, that the attackers turn to the defenders and the defenders turn to attackers, and that is not what you want at all as the defenders. And then, like I mentioned before, with that man advantage, the defending side already has the advantage even if it wasn't a 5v5 situation. And with the attackers having that man advantage, being the defending side at that point, with all the ACOGs and everything, that is nowhere where you want to be, especially as a defender. And that is exactly where they inevitably put themselves in.
We're going to see them go back to that bomb site. This time they're bringing a Cav, and they're bringing in Ella. We saw them bring the Ella last map, those Guma, or no, what are they called? Excuse me, I'm trying to remember the Ella's profession. Prisma, that was it. Okay. Getting my names mixed up, but they're going to bring her. She has a shield in hand, so I think there's more reason to bring her now with the shields being even more useful with the meta changing and less ops having those shields. So I think there's more justification for that. But what do you make of that Cav pick? It's not something you normally see in comp. It seems like it's a hit or a miss, but most of the time it's a miss.
Well, Cav and Ella are two, very smaller operators, being a 3-speed. Both bring that beautiful shotgun that a lot of people use either as jokingly and very seriously as well, because they are both very effective weapons. You don't see the shotgun coming from the Ella, but we haven't been answered yet. I just been answered that it is now an SMG. I thought that they would bring some sort of shotgun, and that Cav holding downstairs could be huge because, like I mentioned before in the past, the Nomad has not been super effective, but now since it is on Big Chi, they did win the round since. So hopefully they can the air jabs do get placed down properly this time, as well as they did last round, I believe, and see if they can actually take care of this Cav properly. Because if this Cav can actually catch them off guard, catch that one singular guy off guard, because there has been a lot of solo pushes, as you noticed, from the attacking side. So if that solo push gets isolated by the Cav, that could mean probably the round for the attacking side.
Yeah, so that's going to be something to watch out for. The Cav, really good in those 1v1 situations, could get the interrogation down. But they're going to be doing some decent drone work here, catching her out. I think she was almost caught. At least she heard the drone, had to rotate down further. But Animal going to get a kill onto Big Chi. No more air jabs. He's trying to follow it up. Isn't able to. He does get refragged by Bonbon. He's going to pre-fire the stairs down below. He's going to engage and get the kill instantly onto the Cav of Mutt Grinds. And that Cav coming out not useful in this case. Pluto, though, going to be patient. Playing here near the bottom of the Astro Stairs. He could have a decent flank here, but so far, he hasn't opted to do that, trying to just wait for these attackers to maybe seemingly become a little more relaxed. That's Nam going to get killed on the Bing Bong, though, and they're following up pretty quickly. 4-2 now for them. There is going to be a kill, though, and Pluto getting that kill onto Nam. Now it's a 3v2. They know at the top of red there's one, but he can't even get the kill. That's Pluto taking out Zarin. And now it's a 2v2. These attackers seemingly losing that man advantage in quick succession. Bonbon is in sight, though. They could get the plant down. They could still find themselves in an advantage just having the defuse down.
Yeah, this is a very interesting situation so far. They still have a minute remaining. You expect the diffuser to actually head down around the end of the round, but they actually managed to place it around like a third left of the round. And with these ACOGs in place, it's going to be very hard for these attackers to actually take these really tight angles, because you know that both these operators, yeah, they're holding very tight angles. And Pluto has done a lot of damage in the beginning, and hopefully he can actually clean up the rest of it. He did not notice the feet of the prone operator on the left-hand side of him. He's going to be pre-firing the smoke a little bit, trying to get a little bit of damage off, even though Bonbon actually has taken a lot of damage throughout the beginning of this round, and actually does find it, pushing into the smoke, and actually not realize that he's prone right next to him, tries to get the melee off and L on the kill to end off the round and gain the defuse in the process. I'm pretty sure he does have time. We do not see the wheel. I do usually use my the visuals of the little circle that runs at a time whenever it comes to rank to actually judge if the time is running down. But that was very interesting how that was played out. Very last second as well. It was well played by the attack, I say, because they did find that weakness and they did realize that no one was really on site to actually cover it. And with that being said, they actually did retake it very well. The melee coming from, I believe it was the Legion, was an interesting play. Who has not been made aware that both of them were prone on site until he did get into that situation. But well played by the defenders to actually win out that round there.
Yeah, and I don't want to be too critical, but it looked like the angles they were holding were a little questionable. To leave the Ying by themselves, it looked like the other player was just hiding behind the bar, was not holding any angles. And so that left the other attacker to watch both angles by themselves. So I think that was a little bit of a mishap, which allowed the attacker, or the defenders who became the attackers, to push in. That's why the Legion you mentioned was able to push in on the classical hallway doorway, turn left, kill the player by billiards, and then from there try and push on the player in the bar area. But had the bar player been holding another angle, maybe holding vault, the other attacker could have been holding the classical doorway, or vice versa. Either way, they could have been holding different angles and helping each other out, but it looked like just one player holding angles, the other one just hang out behind bar. So to me, that was a little weird. But I do want to give credit, though, to that defense, as you mentioned. Really good job on a retake. It's never easy to do a retake, especially in a 2v2. It's an even man count, so it's a little bit of a disadvantage for them at that point. But they still managed to win. They're going to be going to that other bomb site. This is the only 2 bomb sites we've seen, that Aviation Games, and now we're going to see that trophy statue hold. They're going to be bringing the Cav on Animal Mother this time. Not the same player, I believe, who did it last time. We'll see if they have a little more success with them playing that top.
I did want to bring up the Cav play before, because she tried to push up the stairs of where the bullets were coming before and tried to get, I believe, a headshot off, because he was isolated. The Ying was isolated before, and I can understand why Cav wanted to push that situation, but I feel like if she played a little bit more safe and continued to play on that basement staircase that was below Astro Stairs, then she actually probably could have gotten a kill off him, because that is catching her off guard and allowing the down to actually go through and probably getting interrogation in the process, and that could have won them the round, because that would equal more frags and more kills for the defending side, and that could equal a much more of a man advantage. So what's his name, Pluto wouldn't have to, or Pluto my bad. Pluto wouldn't have to actually get as many frags as he did, and they did win the round anyway, so it was a good job. But I do have to question that play there by the Cav.
Yeah, some mishaps on each team, and that's pretty standard. I mean, can't expect everyone to be flawless, so we'll move on from the mistakes, but I'm sure there'll be more to happen here. But I think we're going to be looking at who's making the more pivotal mistakes here. Legion is going to get caught out, but I think that is sort of a bait play. It seems like he's playing with Animal Mother here on the Cav, and they're just trying to bait players into coming down, trying to clear this room so he can get a kill, and he might just find one here. He does get Bonbon down. He's going to finish it off, not go for that interrogation, as that is a really dangerous position to put yourself in. You can get caught out. It takes a little bit of time to get the interrogation. But hey, opening kill coming out, and that's on the Nomad. So now they don't even have to worry about those air jabs. I don't think he placed a single air jab yet.
Yeah, that's one of the things about being a Cav player, is that it's so stressful and it's so painful to actually have to finish off that kill. And like looking back at a VOD, then you can actually realize that you could have taken that interrogation. And like you just saw right there, she probably could have taken that interrogation with no punishment whatsoever. And it's gonna hurt Animal later on when he reviews this VOD. And we are actually gonna be able to pick up another pick from Kojo onto Zern right there. And then the diffuser actually does go down by, I believe, the Rook right there. That's going to be very annoying, because the Ying actually needs to push to the opposite side of the map to actually help out the Zofia to go take care of that diffuser. And he continues to run as the Ying was playing very aggressive on the Cav. I'm going to question that play right there, but inevitably another kill in the favor of the attackers.
Yeah, a lot of frags back and forth there. The Cav was figured out, so that makes them a little bit more relaxed, I'm sure, on the attack. Now I'm going to watch out for that Cav, but they still are in a man disadvantage. Only 30 seconds remaining. Big Chi, though, has popped off in the past, and Nam has 6 kills. Their 2 top fraggers, arguably, are here on the board, so they could make something happen here. 2v3. Diffuser is downed in that bathroom, though. You mentioned that before. So 20 seconds. They're pretty much just going to have to go for the frags here. And Big Chi going to throw in the Ying. Try and get a kill here. He is going to find him out behind that bomb chastity, but that's only 1 of 3. 10 seconds remain here. These attackers going to try and pinch their in on these defenders playing in the bathroom and the bedroom area, but they don't seem like they have enough time. That's 1 and 2. Bing Bong getting the kill with the C4. Kojo picked off Big Chi with a nice headshot, and that cleans up that round, giving them a 4-2 split, and now they have to go on their attacking half. That's Arcadia in the lead.
I don't like that play. I don't like that play at all by the Zofia there, because aiming at that camera or shooting the camera should have been the priority there, because that is inevitably what got her killed. I mean, yes, there was an audio call when it came to the doorway, and the pulse probably would have gotten the Nectar off anyway, but that is a lot of intel going off right there. Just that's like half a second for you to just aim right there, shoot, and go right back to the angle. And at the speed that she was peeking at the angle anyway, it wouldn't have mattered. She should have just taken the intel down, and that should have been her first priority. Intel is like a priority in any sort of situation, and that inevitably wins people gunfights. It's that intel and those teammates giving off those callouts. I want to go back to that Cav play. The Cav was not successful, and although there is a side switch, I'm going to guess that they probably weren't going to bring a Cav again. Like I said before, that interrogation probably would have done a lot more for them. But again, they did win the round as the defenders. And those comebacks and those like little last-second 2v2 situations, they've been doing really, really well as defenders. And now that they have switched sides, and hopefully I can see the exact same play when it comes to the attacking side.
Yeah, we'd like to see it, right? But we never know what they're going to be bringing out. Some things I do like to highlight that I like to see. I do like the Maverick pick. You get to bring extra set of nades, and then they're not going to bring the... So, I mean, if you're not going to bring the sledge, that's always a good op to bring in replacement of that. It also allows them to get the walls open up pretty much guaranteed. And then on top of it, you're allowed to bring the Ash and the Zofia now, and that'll allow you to get that soft destruction once you've made the wall soft by using the Maverick trick. The other thing, though, they're bringing the Hibana on top of it, so they're not relying on just one hard breacher. I've seen that prove to be fatal in some instances on this map, where you need to get a wall open, but your hard breach is already dead early in the round. So I like to see that they are giving themselves a few more options there in case something did happen like that. Now on the defensive half, they're bringing in the Wamai and the Jaeger. I always like to see that combination as well. But something that I didn't think the other defense brought was the smoke, and I think that's really pivotal in denying that plant.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you talk about your Jaeger with my duo, but my duo is the smoke mute combo. Although the gadgets have no correlation whatsoever, I'm talking about that SAS shotgun. That is, I talk that up a lot whenever it comes to me and Inferno. But I love the SAS shotgun. You got to bring that SAS shotgun when it comes to any site. The SAS operators, the defending operators, are pretty much staple to any sort of map and any sort of play in general. Every round, you got to bring that British operator, especially smoke, denying that area denial, the entry denial, and plant denial. He's full package, you know. And you got to bring that Jaeger and Wamai combo. You know, like you got to deny both grenades with the Jaeger nerf that they did bring onto the table earlier. You got to bring that into the game as the Maverick does take down the Jaeger. That is a nice trade right there. But the frag and the weight that Maverick pick brought to the defending side is much greater than that Jaeger pick, and they actually got to be careful with that. And they need to figure out a better way to go about it with just the Hibana being able to take down those walls. And they do not have any sort of Thatcher. I'm guaranteed he was banned. I was entirely forgot if he was banned or not. But with that Thatcher off the board, they actually need to worry about those electrified walls.
Ooh, a nice shot coming out from Mutt Grinds. You mentioned Maverick off the board, so they're going to have to rely on that Hibana. What can she do? Her gadget isn't the best for opening up ways to get into sight, so that could very limit their push. But now they have that man advantage at least, so they have that going for them. Rai, though, being a nuisance on this roam, they did Jackal track him, but that's already done and dusted. That has happened well in the past. They aren't aware of his position, it seems, and they're going to have to be very careful of a flank. They don't have much control looking into sight yet, so these attackers still not in the right positions to get an execution down. They only have 45 seconds remaining. Rye at the top of red stairs here is going to be peeking towards that Jackal. Can they see each other? He does see him. He shoots his own drone, unfortunately, but he does know someone was playing there, it seems. So Rye's going to rotate back towards the main stairs. The smoke doing his job, using those cannons to slow down this push, but he might run out of cannons just before the time is fully elapsed. So they might still be able to have about 15 seconds here where they could push in. Bing Bong on that Hibana, trying to get in, trying to find out where that smoke's playing. They're going to let Kojo push in. Pluto going to get a kill on Big Chi, but Zarin is going to get the refrag. He's going to be found out, though, behind that bar. It's going to be a refrag from Rye, but he's going to get taken out by Pluto, and that's going to clean up the round. Arcadia getting their first attacking round in their favor, putting them up even further at, I believe, a 5-2 round differential now.
That was a really interesting play there. That Ash's awareness and the ability to actually take that communication that the teammates are giving them, or giving him rather, and just turning it into an instant gunfight. He went straight from killing the man behind bar to instantly aiming right back at top red stairs doorway, or what was it called, aviator doorway. That was really well played there. The awareness and actual continuation of the gunfights that the Ashes bring to the table just shows that Pluto should be playing that role as a fragger, and he's been playing it very well so far. To bring that Maverick and Hibana combo, you obviously you bring it so if one dies, you can still use the other one to take care of the wall. And inevitably, they did bring it down to the situation to where Hibana was still alive, but they didn't have the Maverick to take care of the wall gadgets, and they clearly still don't have the Thatcher. I'm saying that you got to bring that IQ to go vertical. That vertical play is inevitable on this map, and you got to bring that IQ to take care of those electrics from below, because Maverick, like you saw before, will most likely not be alive to actually get there, because the way that they're playing their roams and the way that they're trying to clear out those roams have not been the best, and the gunfights that are going out, they actually need to take that into consideration, that they should not be pushing directly onto the site and actually going below and taking it from a different angle.
And interesting to point out, they might be doing this closet play with the shield there with the smoke, might be playing in closet, but they don't have the Wamai, so the attackers could burn it out and get the kill here on the smoke, depending on how they play it. But that is still a lot to ask, and a lot of utility could be wasted. But Big Cheese Edge going to rotate out of there. So all they're putting down is 2 frost mats on that window. We see that oftentimes because they might look down and shoot one, but the chance of you getting both those frost mats not very high. So if you do try and jump in on them, probably will get caught out. We'll see if the attackers opt for that. We have seen a lot of study pushes rather than the bedroom push, but with the Maverick on the board, you'd think that they'd probably try and get that wall open in the bedroom. I'm not quite sure. What do you think the push is going to be here?
Well, judging by where all the outlines are right now, it seems to be more of an opposite side push right now. They're going to be basing their push around the study side, and I think they're going to make their way over there and try to clear out and flush out those roamers, because they did not bring a nomad, so they have to deal with it with the Jackal themselves. Pluto is probably going to be their entry frag to actually take care of those roamers while they can. And if they cannot take care of those roamers while they can, then, like I said before, those hard breachers should be staying behind, and hopefully they do not lose that Maverick early on as they did last round. And you can see right now that the Kaid is off-site. Kind of an interesting play, because you typically see the Kaid sitting on site, because clearly they're not tricking whatsoever. The long-range fight does go on, and a little bit of damage does get dealt to the Kaid right there. Not looking too good, but a little bit of a shoulder shot goes onto Pluto, dealing nearly the same amount of damage. So it's a pretty even matchup so far. Nothing really significant has been done, or any sort of changes that would bring it to either side. So it's minute 40 so far. Not really much has been done for the attacking side, besides much more damage onto Pluto and a little bit more damage onto the Jaeger, and that is not going to look too good. They have been made aware of the 90 hold from the Kaid, and have been pinging. The intel is going out right now, and that communication needs to continue. If that Kaid does not take care of that drone like he did just there, he may or may not win or lose this gunfight to this long angle right there. And with the ACOG in hand, he's not going to win against the Maverick.
Yeah, Animal going to get the kill on to Nam. Interesting to see the Kaid didn't bring the 1.5 when it is available on the AUG that he was using. Bonbon also going to be down, so that's essentially a 5v3 right now, unless they help him up quickly. That is the mute down. He does have a C4 in hand, so having him alive still would probably prove very useful in these dying moments, but they still have a minute left. These attackers still have plenty of time, and they're already pushing in on these doorways, getting the man advantage early, and looking like they have the control that they're going to want to get this execute for the most part. Now, it is somewhat of a one-dimensional push. That's my concern looking at their positioning, but the Jackal's going to help push away this Jaeger holding that doorway, so he's no longer going to be holding the angle. I do say players playing in bedroom, utilizing that shield to look through the opposite direction. He's going to get a kill, but no, miss the shots. That's going to be Muttgrind getting Bonbon, finishing him up. Saren does get the refrag onto Animal. He's going to be contesting with 3 different players over here in the landing area. He's going to do a lot of damage to Zofia, but he's on a quarter HP himself now. almost getting caught out. He's going to start rotating around. Bing Bong going to get some damage done to him. That's going to be the Zofia down, but not finished off. There is a kill from behind, though. Rai getting a kill on the Pluto. Plant is down. Now it's essentially 2v2 as there is a downed and now finished off Kojo. Big Chilo picking up Bing Bong is going to put it all on Muttgrind's back. He needs to hold this post-plant situation. He's going to take out Rai. Goodbye. And now it's a 1v1. Big Chi is going to get a lot of damage done and get finished off. Unfortunate timing to be throwing that Smoke Babe. And that's going to be another attacker win. That's a 6-2 now map point. This could be the exact opposite scoreline. If they win one more, it'll be 7-2 for each team on the opposite team's map choice.
I'm going to nitpick a little bit on the defender play right there, because when they take that opposite side push, majority of the operators, when it came to the attacking side, were on the opposite side of the map. I don't know if they've been made quite aware of how many there were, but considering that all the gunshots and all the gunfights and all the callouts are coming from the study side, they need to take advantage of the fact that they still have that room master, and they can sit behind that shield as long as they want to. As long as they just waste that time and do not peek, then they can actually take that site, or actually rather hold that site for a very long time, and it will work out in their favor. But it didn't really work out so far, because I think the smoke did hold back and start rotating around bathroom instead of holding that statue doorway that it leads into 90. If he did not hold that doorway correctly, then if he did hold that doorway correctly, then that plant would not have went off, and there would have been no issue with that round at all. It did get brought down to a 1v2 situation, which wasn't really that big of an issue for the defenders. But then what you did see there is that the angles were not really held correctly. There's not a lot of intel going out when it came to the Frost. Because the Frost, when she did peek it, she should have said he is directly to the left. And the Smoke's decision to throw the smoke canister before actually peeking it directly, because he did have a shotgun in hand, he most definitely would have won that fight if he actually only hit one shot at that type of range. If he would have hugged the wall a little bit more, got a little closer, then he probably would have won that gunfight. But he decided to throw the smoke canister instead, which is what I wanted to nitpick mainly, because that time that he takes to throw out detonate is nothing compared to just the Jackal running around the corner and then instantly pre-firing him, which he would, even if he was still sitting behind that corner, he would have swung anyway. So that play was not the best coming from the smoke.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like you could have played it better, and just in general, if you're gonna throw the Smoke Babe, why are you playing in such like an open position? Like they can wide swing in, you're just gonna be standing right in the middle. They weren't even holding a tight angle. You could have tried to flush them out as well, but instead they kind of pushed up a little too far, I felt, if they were gonna go with that play, which is arguable if it's even the right play. But in this case, they're gonna go back to that Aviation Games defense. They haven't won a single defense so far. 2 in a row they've lost. Now they're on map point. This will go to this will go to that third map, the decider map of Cafe, after this, if they lose this round or any other round until the overtime would be met, which is 4 more rounds here. So they have to find 4 more to even bring this to overtime. It's a lot to ask. They haven't found a single round yet. I'm a little concerned. We're going to see though that the Vigil is playing in sight, it looks like, or oh, never mind. I think I have the wrong bomb site. That's my bad. They're actually going to be going to the same bomb site of Trophy and Statue. Now, nice kill coming up from Rai, though. He's going to get Animal early on. That's someone who's been really effective for the attackers. Another kill coming up, but that's on the attacking side. Kojo getting a kill, but a refrag going to be found possibly, but no, just a down. There's a lot of back and forth happens, and the attacker is coming out on top. Now they still have 4 men as one was helped back up. It's a 4v2 essentially, not even halfway through the round.
Yeah, it definitely was an interesting situation, especially for the defenders, considering that they already lost 3 people and they still have a minute remaining. It's a 2v4 situation right now, and they've set up 3 people on the study side area, and I can understand doing that. I can entirely understand like putting a little bit more defense over there so they do not get too far and not too close to the site. But the fact that they put 3 over there and they lost that many gunfights, the communication clearly wasn't there. The bullets were not connecting in their favor, and inevitably lost 3 roamers as a result. They should have been playing probably downstairs, probably should have played the staircase, probably should have played it a lot more slow to be able to actually get those frags out, because they only inevitably took down Nomad in the process, and Zofia's playing very aggressive on site now.
Well, that's 1 kill coming out. Big Chi getting it with the SMG-11 in hand. I'm surprised they didn't try and burn the shield out. It was the Zofia pushing and could have burned the shield away. Sarah going to get a kill on the Bing Bong. Now it's an even man count. These attackers letting the advantage slip, but they're not going to fully let it go as Mutt Grinds gets Saren. Now it's down to Big Chi, all with the SMG-11 in hand. Plant is going down. He's going to rotate. It's going to give him time to get the plant down. The other man did go to the rotation. He's going to be behind the desk, and he's going to get the kill. It's Mutt Grinds cleaning up the round, cleaning up the map. 7-2 in Arcadia's favor this time, mirroring the opposite of what we saw last time on Coast. each team winning 7-2 on the opposite team's map, I have to point out. So neither team winning their map choice, interestingly enough, getting dominated actually on their own map choice. Now we're going to see that pick of Cafe coming out. But before we get there, we will take a small break quickly, send it to an advertisement, and we'll be right back with you. That's a very surprising Hello, welcome back to NECC Esports. This is a Rainbow6 matchup here. I'm joined with Karo. I am Wealku, otherwise known as Wes. And we're getting to that third map, Mason. We're going to be finding them on Cafe here It's going to be an interesting one. It's been 7-2 and then 7-2 the other way. So each team having a dominating map each. This is a little different. This is Cafe, though. I expect to see more standard play, more 4-2 splits. We might even see an overtime, I'm hoping. Because seeing another blowout would just, it wouldn't do justice, I don't think, to each team showing up on a different map. I'd like to see a little closer one just to finish it out, just so each team can feel like they played pretty well. I do see that players are in the lobby, though, so we might be able to just jump on in if everyone is ready. What have you seen so far, though, that you're expecting to see more of, or that you're hoping to see cleaned up, or any thoughts going into this last map?
A lot of risky plays I've definitely seen from more of the defending side. I'm not entirely sure if I saw more from the attacking side than the defending side, but I definitely noticed a lot more on the defending side when it came to the last switch. So I saw that the smoke in that last round, when he had to deal with the Ashe and Zofia, he decided to just stand up and run out of the room instantly, even though that there was someone holding his angle. He was lucky to escape with his life, but sadly did lose it in the bathroom afterwards. But I'm just entirely surprised that he managed to get off of that shield the way he did. I did see a lot of that, where people running away, holding down shift instead of holding down right click in the direction that they were getting shot from. That is what they need to start cleaning up. And if they do not start cleaning that up, then they will be losing a lot more roamers. They're going to be losing a lot more anchors. They're going to be losing just lives in general. That's something that they need to start cleaning up. And I wanted to ask you a question. I did not cast the first match. What was the difference in rounds, like the round difference?
It was 7-2 both times, but opposite teams. So first time is Butler 7-2'd Arcadia, and then we just saw Arcadia 7-2 Butler. So interesting that they mirrored each other like that. I will point out another one that just to add on to your point, you mentioned they get caught out. We saw that Cav is running below. The IQ, I believe, jumps down, or was it the Ying? I can't remember. One of those two was the Ying. Okay, they had a lot of bullets in the chamber, and so they're able to just keep firing. I thought it was interesting because that's a long hallway, and you hear them, you can hear the drop down, so you know they're behind you. Like, why wouldn't you turn around then and just try and engage? Because you have to know that that's a long hallway. You're going to get caught out.
That's exactly what I was talking about.
And so it is interesting to see that happening. So I would like to see a little bit more, just like heads up, more heads up plays, I guess. Just not letting that kind of stuff happen. Production, how are we looking? Are we almost able to jump in here? Are we still waiting on a player to come back?
While we wait for an answer right there, I actually want a bit about Cafe. I asked you about the map before, Villa, and now I want to ask you about Cafe. I have my opinion on it, and I will share it afterwards, but I want to know yours first.
Sure. So Cafe, I actually love Cafe. The telling tale on this map from what I've seen is, okay, for one, if both teams have like a basic structure. So that means defense should be favored. They should be playing in the very normal styles that you normally see. So upstairs hold probably should be won by the defense. Basement hold, they need to have some roamers to help burn the time, and they have to be careful of that verticality, but it's very winnable. And then that third site is the one that's always the hardest, right? And I expect it to be reading. And so I just expect it to play out that way. That's why I mentioned before the 4-2 splits. So with that in mind, that would be what I would expect. Like, that's my standard. Now, what's going to put one team on top for me is who can get the well-coordinated pushes. Attacking on Cafe is one of the hardest things to do. And we are ready to go in. So I'll let you, though, talk about your opinion quick as we jump in here. What do you think of Cafe? I think that whatever team can have that coordinated push, if one team can win on that top floor hold especially, I think that's going to be the telling difference.
Cafe, being a very vertical map, you see a lot of roam. You see a lot of roam potential. And who started the beginning of the round? Who started attacking side last map?
I think it was Arcadia.
Arcadia was. Okay.
Oh, no, wait. No, Butler did. Sorry.
I feel like it was Butler. Okay, I just want to double check there. Butler, how they played, they didn't really take care of those roamers as efficiently as you would like to see. And this map definitely being heavy on the roamers, I want to see them they need to clean it up if they want to win this map, because this whole entire map is based around roaming. The vertical play when it comes to nitro cells, the vertical play when it comes to, I want to see I'd expect a buck. I was going to say, I wonder why there is not a buck ban right now, because they did do that when it came to, it was Villa. And I'm confused why they're not doing it here, because this map is much worse for that. They should have banned buck on this one if they're going to be banning that soft breach. So I do find that a little bit more interesting. The fact that the sledge is still effective, and the fact that they did bring buck means that Butler should be able to take care of site when it comes to kitchen. But what I do want to see is that Nomad. If they do not bring that Nomad, then that will be inevitable death for the entire game when it comes to Butler's attack. If they do not bring that, then I don't know what to really tell them. When it came to the beforehand, hopefully, what's his name? I entirely forgot what his username was. But Big Chi. He needs to play that role because he did play that a lot more efficiently than who was. If he continues on this map, then that will probably be a lot better than what it was before.
And the Capcan ban still coming out from Arcadia, still target banning towards Raya, I believe. Interesting decision. I still am not a huge fan of it. I felt like they could have done a better choice than that. Mira is actually pretty strong on this map. You can play her on that top floor hold, looking, and you can actually blow up the wall, looking into the piano room from Freezer. If you open that up and then you put the Mira on that wall, looking into Freezer from the cocktail area, you can have a nice line of sight with the Mira window. I just pointed that out in case viewers didn't know about that either. So that's something to keep in mind. So Mira can actually be very powerful, and she could end that same position upstairs when you're doing that middle floor control, which you need that vertical control. You can open up the floors in cocktail, looking down towards that doorway of library where people like to plant. And if you hold upstairs, it stops the attack from being able to do a quick push and plant into that corner. So just a few things. You mentioned the verticality before, Mason. That's one of those examples. So if they can utilize verticality well, whatever team does it better, I think, is the one that will probably win the matchup here. Now, looking at the first round, Arcadia will be on that defense. So looking at their lineup, what do you make of it?
Well, like I was mentioned before, the verticality, bringing that pulse is definitely going to be showing a lot of that, depending on how they want to play it. Probably it could possibly be used as more of an intel role than it is of a vertical roll, and actually trying to get that nitro cell off. My apologies, I was a little interrupted by my door opening, so I did stall there for a second. But I do want to mention that Big Chi did go on the Nomad pick, directing away from the defending side right now, because everything that I see right now is pretty normal. You see the Legion Vigil pick, you see the Jaeger pick, all roamers and what you want to see on this map, and I really have no issues with the defending side. And when it comes to the attacking side, they did not bring that second heart breach, but they did bring the Ace, which is a pretty effective heart breach operator in general. So to see him and actually his ability to take down top of red wall will be pretty efficient within itself. And to see the push from bottom right hand stairs is going to be pretty interesting, and hopefully the Vigil becomes aware of the situation along with the Legion, because I think the Legion did give the call out, considering that he is still watching the white stairs right now. So they need to get their drones in and take care of these roamers as soon as they can. Vigil is definitely utilizing his gadget pretty well, and that could be the end of him by giving a general call out of where he is located, because that little those lines on their screen can give a call out saying, okay, he's in this general area, he is on this floor, or we could probably flush him out of this area if we do manage to waste the time on that gadget and call him out from there.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out is I do understand the Vigil pick, but I'm actually not a huge fan of it, because you mentioned it gives you away your position, and I think there's just better ops you could bring. One thing that wasn't banned, who's very, very powerful, is Melusi. And there's so many stairwells, the white stairs, for example. You can just put a Melusi on that, have someone playing up at the top of the stairs. They can watch the white corridor and watch the white stairs, and the Melusi wub is going to give the information if someone's trying to push. But we do see an engagement coming out. That's going to be Zarin. He's going to be engaging with, I believe, who was that? Is that Bandit playing in no, that's Pluto on the Legion, my bad. He's going to be playing there in Library, though, and some damage was done, but not a lot. Neither side really coming out on top. A lot of these drones are already getting shot out. If we look at the drone economy, they're already halfway through their drones, and they haven't really got much map control to show for it. The roamer is still persisting. You mentioned how that would be pivotal. They're going to finally start using the Ying to try and clear it out, but that's going to only get the roamers. That's Nam getting a kill on the animal. There's still one man to find. That's Pluto playing here. He's going to be blinded by the Candela. He's going to try and get rotation here, but from behind is going to be the kill coming out from Mutt Grinds onto Zarin, and now it's an even man count. Do they even know if the man's still in there? Yes, Legion giving away his position. That's Big Chi watching that, but they have to get an execution now. It's only 45 seconds. They're not going to be able to focus on these roamers much longer unless they just want to lose by sign. They just missed the feet by the bomb chastity. Bon not able to see it. Could have got an easy kill onto someone proning there. Nam not able to see the other. I think they stood up, so the feet were no longer visible. Big Bing Bong is going to take some damage. Rai taking some damage as well. Damage back and forth. No kills coming out quite yet. 24 seconds remaining. These attackers not in a very great position. There is the Jaeger playing deep in Freezer, and they don't even know it yet. The Nomad is going to be there on the top of white, just not pushing in yet. There's Kojo getting a kill and a double kill, and Big Chi getting a refrag, but it's all in the favor of this defense so far. Kojo getting a triple kill on the round. One man left to find. It's going to be right next to him. That's going to be a kill coming out for the Nomad. The air dive giving away position, but no time remaining for Big Chi to try and bring it back. And that's going to be the defense winning on time.
Oh yeah, that was definitely an interesting play right there, especially by the Legion when it came to holding the reading side. When it came to the Legion sitting downstairs and actually applying that pressure from the reading side, and the support that I saw from the Vigil was absolutely beautiful. To see that Legion actually sit there and hold that staircase wasted a lot of time, because what the Ying had to do was to fall back, group up with his teammates again, and actually bring them with some support. The Ying tried to push up with their Candelas, and the placement of the Candela sadly did not go into the room, and the arc of the Candela was not where she wanted it to go. So she had to rethrow another one, wasting one whole entire thing of flashbangs. And that's not the best situation to put herself in, especially since she didn't even take off any of the roamers yet. So she had to push forward and try to take advantage of the fact that Legion was blinded, and then Vigil came all around with the support, and that support took care of that Legion and still applied that pressure to the Zofia pushing up afterwards. And the fact that that pressure is applied, she has to worry about all of that and has to drone it in the process, and that is a lot more time wasted, because Zofia had to push from a different angle because she didn't have the time to deal with all those roamers downstairs.
Right, just so much time burned, and the Ying getting caught from the backside, just unfortunate. But that also shows that drone economy I mentioned before just wasn't good enough. They didn't get the drone work they needed. Took way too much time clearing the roamers, as you were just talking about. So just not everything coming together. I do want to credit the defense, though. They did a really good job there, just holding out on the time. We did see the triple kill come out for that Jaeger of Kojo. We do see now, though, no Jaeger, nothing's going to catch any of these projectiles. The grenades from the sledge could prove to be pivotal in this round if you can utilize them wisely. You could easily get some kills because there's nothing to stop those grenades now.
Yeah, Jaeger's such a staple operator on every single map, and almost a required operator, and not seeing it in their lineup is kind of worrying. Because the amount of utility that they already knew that they were bringing a Ying. Switching off that Jaeger was not the best idea. That Ying is now fully open to flash any room she wants to without any sort of consequence. So having the Ying on the table, having the Zofia on the table, the nades from the sledge, having the Ace's gadgets that can be taken care of by the Ace, as well as the air jabs, every single one of the attacking sides gadgets are now viable when it comes to just any part of the actual site, and that is not good whatsoever. They should have stuck that Jaeger pick, and that is why Jaeger is one of the most played operators in the game, and not because he's broken. No, it's because his gadget is just nuts, and it is a required piece of utility. And there's a lot of droning going upstairs right now, and I like to see how quick they are onto that right now. I believe they just got into the building right now, but they have not wasted any time with the droning. And the frag does go off with the Zofia, beautifully timed. Not so beautifully timed for the Vigil, because he was not expecting it whatsoever. And the audio that did go through when it came to the hatch opening up definitely did not connect when it came to the Vigil peeking that angle.
Yeah, he gets taken out early in this one. The attackers having a man advantage halfway through the round, and they're going to start pushing near site. We do see Bon starting to engage near bar here. He does get the kill. Does he know a second one's near him? There's going to be Pluto peeking and getting a kill. He knows that he's going to be in there, and he's going to get the kill. That's the sludge of Bon finding a second kill on the round. That's Pluto off the board. They still maintain man advantage 4-2 for these attackers, and they have a minute still. They're doing this really early on, getting these kills early in the round, and now they have a minute to play with to find these last two remaining defenders, and they've lost the ace, so that kind of sucks. That's your hard breach off the board, but they can still execute. We know that you mentioned before, no Jaeger, no Wamai. They can throw these Ying Candelas, which they are doing, so they need to move in with the Ying, though. Ying needs to push in while throwing these Candelas out, otherwise it's a waste of that utility. I'm sad to see a Candela was just used there and nothing happened because of it. We do see Bon start to move in. He might get caught off from the left side here. The Maestro is sitting in the corner. Bing Bong going to get killed on to the Ying. No more Candelas in hand. Bon not sure where this Maestro is playing. They're laying down in the corner here. Can he hear the man? But Big Chi's going to take a Bing Bong. Now it's all up to Kojo. He's going to find the man right below him. That's going to be Bon off the board. No more kills for you, sir. And it's a 1v2. Kojo, though, the plant is going down. Now it is finished. That's a 1v2 post-plant situation. He's finding himself in a very difficult spot now. He does have 4 kills for himself, so he's having a good game so far. He's going to need to find 2 more to finish up this round and get a win for his team. Otherwise, it's going to be an even round count for these attackers. Butler just holding angles. They're all prone, though. That's going to put them in a very vulnerable position, as they are not going to be able to move very well. There is going to be the nice shot, though. Nam cleaning up Kojo, and that's going to be round number 2 coming into the attacker's favor. That's a 1-1 round count.
It's pretty difficult to actually see the fact that they had a free round right there. Well, the attacking side did win that, but off the beginning, off the rip, the Sledge and Ying combo essentially already had the round locked in there. If they did manage to lose any more lives and the diffuser did not go down and the Maestro actually was positioned in a manner to take care of that prone peak by, I believe it was the Zofia in the end there, then they would have been able to win that round as the defenders. But for the attackers, if what the Ying could have done with those 2 extra Candelas left, if they had the awareness that the ADSs were no longer on the board, she could have pinpointed the Maestro location, throw the Ying canister in the direction of him, cleared him out. He probably would still be pre-firing, but pre-firing blindly, obviously, and then take care of him very, very quickly. And then on the right-hand side, I can't remember who the last person was alive, but I believe it was the Kaid, and then she could have thrown a Candela in any direction over there. The reach of the flashbangs in this game are immense. So the fact that she could have just cleared off site just single-handedly is mind-blowing, and the fact that she could have done it right there is kind of sad to see, but although they did win the round, so I can't complain too much.
Right. I do want to give more constructive feedback, though, because I think it is good for the community, right? It's good for these teams to go back, watch the VODs, listen to us. So I want to mention Sledge on the board. No verticality being brought. They could have destroyed the floor above bomb site of A. And if you go into train, you can actually look east. If you open up the floor and train, you can see that corner. If you just blow up the soft wall, and the wall was soft there, you can see into that back corner where the Maestro was playing. So that's a really easy place to get a kill from if they just know about that angle. So just knowing the angles, knowing the map a little bit better, that map awareness, you can shoot through that soft wall that you're looking at right there, and there's the mining area, destroy the mining floor, and that would give you that line of sight I was just talking about. So something to keep in mind for those watching who don't know, our team's going back watching the VOD, some vital information, but we're going to see they're going to do the top-down clear. They're at the top of the roof here, and they're going to be having to contend. I would hazard a guess they're going to have to contend with some of these roamers on the board.
Yeah, we don't see too many roamers upstairs right now, but while they are searching for these roamers, I do want to mention the fact that verticality that you were mentioning before, yes, it can flush up those operators, but it also applies that pressure, and they don't realize how important that pressure is, especially on that downstairs site, because if they open up those vertical holes, those are angles that they are no longer comfortable holding. And just by opening up those walls and actually being aware of where they're no longer holding, they can lock them into a corner, lock them into whatever side of the site, and actually figure out, okay, they're not holding here, they are holding here. We can flush them out from there. So just with that intel in hand, it's not even visual info or auditorial info. It's just the fact that I know that this hole is open and they will not comfortably hold this hole anymore. Ying gets taken down really early on and completely removing those Candelas from the board. That's a beautiful pick from the Bandit. Most of the most impactful kills are coming from the defender's side. The only really impactful kill that they could really take from the defender's side is the Maestro. So the more and more attacking kills get placed on the board, the worse it's looking for the attacking side. So they got to be careful with these peaks and actually get that intel before they make any like super important decisions pushing angles. And with that being said, I want to mention how much I see the shift key being used from the attacking side. They need to calm it down and actually realize that they have enough time to actually peek these angles. We'll see. He was not in the right spot this time. If it was last round, that would have connected. That's very unfortunate to see.
Big Chi, though, going to get killed on the Mutt grind, so they are going to get that refrag. That is the Jaeger off the board. He was playing outside. Possibly did his body just fall through the wall of freezer? I'm not quite sure. That was interesting. The door looked like it was barricaded. Maybe that's a client side problem. Maybe the door was actually opened up. That does happen in this game sometimes. But interesting to see these two roamers are going to come down the brown stairs, the new stairs they're called. Rai getting a kill onto Bing Bong, and then he's going to get refragged. Kojo getting a kill on the Bon Bon. Pluto, though, going to get caught by an air jab, so these are going to give some information. There's two defenders off site, though, so if these attackers know about it, they could push site, try and get an execute down. 15 seconds remaining. I'm just looking at the time. These attackers do need to get inside here. They're going to be able to go through prep. Nothing is slowing them down. These defenders not holding the right angles. We're going to see Big Chi getting this plant down. Rai Kai, and Nam. Nam going to get a kill on the Kojo, but they just have to watch the angles, wait for these defenders, try and get back. That is a post-plant situation for them. Some damage coming out to Pluto. He's going to get down, but no, never mind. That's going to be Animal killing Raikai, and now it's a 2v2 situation. Pluto trying to find that man in prep, but he's going to get caught out. That's Nam with the kill, but it's going to be a refrag from Animal. Now it's up to Big Chi versus Animal, and who's going to win out? It's going to be Big Chi getting the kill and getting the win for the attackers, giving them now the advantage of 1 round. This has been very close all the way through so far.
Yeah, see, the issue I'm having with that push onto site is that they didn't realize that they really had it open until they pushed onto site themselves, and they realized that we need to get on site as soon as we can. And once that happened, they totally could have been shot down. They could have been gunned down in that little funnel doorway that they were running through, and they would have had no issue as the defenders when doing that. They did get onto site, and they did get the plant down. Luckily enough, the Maestro was not watching it. And if he was watching, that definitely would have been the end of the round right there, because of the amount of damage and the amount of ammo that Maestro has to his disposal. And speaking of roaming, the Legion pushing behind, I thought he was a Malusi for a second, and just because of that, I want to start talking about Malusi as a roamer, and why they're not bringing that Malusi, that interesting 6-pick back to the Sledge, even though he did pick Sledge in the beginning. I feel like he was trying to switch it off to someone else, but I guess he just didn't have time with the timer counting down. So that's very unfortunate to see that, not being able to see what he was going to choose as a result. But Malusi, the idea of Jaeger and why he's such an effective defender is that he used to be a 3-speed. His gadgets, you just have to place down, don't have to worry about. He has barbed wire, you just have to place down the barbed wire, you don't have to worry about it. Once your gadgets are placed, you no longer have to be typically on site. You don't have to like mend or tend to these sites. So that being said, Malusi, she brings a Nitrocell. She's a 3-speed, a very small player model. You just have to place her main gadgets on staircases. They block off a lot. So the fact that she brings that auditorial call out just in 3 separate locations, she can roam beautifully, and not only just roam by herself and actually get that vertical nitro cell that she could possibly end up pulling off, but not only that, but she can also play off those Malusis from different angles and not specifically on site. That's how useful her gadgets are, and most likely the reason why you're seeing that nerf come out, that it's actually going to be coming up in the recent patch.
Yeah, and there's some things I want to break down to add on to your point. One thing I would mention is Bandit. His charges on that wall of freezer can be shot from the roof. At least one of them for sure can be from the skylight. So bringing Bandit to try and deny the push through the freezer doesn't really work out very well. So the attackers here could utilize that weakness. And I think that's why you don't typically see Bandit being brought on this side upstairs. Yeah, he helps with the wall of the piano here at the top of the red stairs. But even then, that can be shot from below as well. So those Bandit charges are just very vulnerable to so many different things. That's why you don't see them brought very much. And so you mentioned that C4 in hand could just be replaced by bringing Malusi instead. And if you're going to bring Metal Breaching Denial, bring the Cage. You can place that claw in a place where it can't be shot from that skylight position. The other thing I want to bring into the conversation here, and just to add education, hopefully the teams do listen to us coming back, but Reaper, EN, he's an old analyst for the old Rogue, the NA Rogue team. He makes videos. One of his videos is about Cafe, especially this cocktail defense. You can see just exactly what we're talking about with some of these defensive holds. And the roam game you brought up beautifully, maybe not covered, but that's just some other things to explore. Now there's going to be a kill though. Pluto getting a kill onto Big Chi, and that's going to open up the round. A second one for Pluto onto Rai. The C4 doesn't connect, but it doesn't matter. That's a double kill, and now they're in a man advantage of 2. Mutt Grind's going to get a refrag onto Nam, and that's going to put this into a 2v5. Now it's almost bringing it back, but he's going to get refragged instantly. Zarin getting a kill, but Mutt Grinds did refrag. Now it's a 1v4, almost getting a 1 for his troubles. Bon. He does find one, but he's instantly refragged by Bing Bong. Man, I was trying to find a time to just give it back to Calro, but that just was not possible. These attackers just pushing in and getting killed very quickly. These defenders did a nice holdout.
It was definitely a nice hold, I can say that much. I do have to take away a little bit of credit because the way that they did plan it as an entire team. Players themselves individually did play it very well, but they did not coordinate it to the point to where they realized that 90% of them were leaving site. They only left the Maestro sitting upstairs, and he almost died in the process, and totally could have, the Sledge totally could have flicked onto the rotate hole and taken care of the roamer that was coming up there to support him afterwards. If the whiff shots did not go through, that could have been sight for Sledge. I believe the diffuser was being placed down near the white stairs. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but in that situation, then the Sledge probably could not have won anyway. But sending that many men down one staircase, especially with not that much of an advantage, you really got to be careful with that. You're entirely right with the bandit idea. The one thing I did want to mention about it is that it just depends on if they are aware that they can shoot it from the skylight. If they're aware that they don't need to bring that gadget denial or any sort of operator that brings that gadget denial. They did ban Thatcher before, and they did ban Thatcher again on this map as well. So they can't really bring that gadget denial. They don't bring that IQ to go below. So it doesn't really matter until they actually peek those certain windows. And if they are aware of that is what I'm curious about. And they're gonna have to show me in later rounds if they do know about it. I don't think I really saw any sort of bandit batteries placed inside the freezer wall. May or not be proving me wrong unless the bandit just straight up did not place them in those angles. But that being said, we're actually be pushing straight back into another round. I think that no, never mind. Does the round? I forgot what round it switches on. I entirely forgot. It's on round 6, isn't it?
Round 7. So total, yeah. So round 7. So there's a total of 6 rounds on each side. I do want to talk about some other things that you mentioned and then build on it. The bandits, you mentioned if they know the angles. Well, we mentioned verticality before, and they are not bringing the sledge, so that's interesting. They also do not have any breaching charges, so they've really limited their soft breach above, which I'm not a huge fan of. So now we know that they're basically going to have to do a horizontal push, and they don't have any hard breach either, so they can't get that hatch. The vertical play is really important in comp, so I'd like to see a little bit more of that from them. They could have opened up from above, shot those bandit charges. They still technically can using an Ash or a Zofia charge, but it just makes it that much more difficult for them. And it's a waste of utility. They could use that to destroy like an Evil Eye or something like that. So but some engagements are going to come out. That's Nam doing some damage to Animal. Animal's down to very little health. He is going to be refragged, but he did manage to catch Nam, and that is the Zofia off the board. So now that utility is fully gone. Now you're going to have to rely on the Ash to use her soft breaching charges, and that's all you have. Now, there's still the ace, and he did open up a wall here. Pluto, though, going to get on his Aaron, and that's going to be the Ying off the board as well. Utility just falling by the wayside for these attackers, but Grind is going to get a kill. We're going to see Bon trying to push in, missing all of the shots onto the Jaeger. That's Bing Bong getting that kill. Now Big Chi on his lonesome 1v4. We've seen situations like this before. It has not really worked out. Once the man advantage is in such a deficit, the chances of them winning, not very likely. He has to pick up this diffuser as well quickly. But he does at least have some time to play with, but the chances of him winning this now are very, very slim.
Yeah, and it seems like they're
landing. The engagement is going to come out. You just find one. Excuse me, Kyra, I'll let you talk now. I just wanted to make sure.
Sorry, I think your mic cut out. I'm not entirely sure about that one. That's my apologies if I did cut you off. But I do want to mention how they must be listening into our stream or something like that, because they did bring the Malusi that time. I do really like to see that type of play. And as this closes out, it's actually going to be a 1v3 situation. Not going to be in the favor of Big Chi, but that pre-fire goes off and is beautifully played by Big Chi, taking off Big Bong plays. Sadly, he's going to be taken out in a really unfortunate manner, because that angle was pretty much inevitably won by him. But clearly she really showed that she was aware, and the intel actually did go through. The prone angle behind where the Maestro is, he did not get off the angle yet until just now, and sadly still lost the gunfight. Pluto did come in there to support him, and you probably could have lost that. Yeah, he is down right there, as you can see. So thank God Pluto was there to support that and could not make a continuation peak, but that was very unfortunate to see right there. I wanted to bring up that you mentioned something, and that entire situation kind of threw me off. So I kind of forgot what I was going to bring up, and I'm very, very upset with that. Oh, gosh. I'll bring it up when I can, but that round was kind of interestingly played. The angles being held and the ability to actually get off the cam by the Maestro there was interesting as well. The Blitz pick, speaking of interesting, is probably going to be 6-picked. I kind of want to see it go through, though. Oh, dang. No, okay, never mind. They're going to 6-pick it off. That got me excited a little bit there.
At least they have Blackbeard, so they have some sort of shield coming into play, so you can be happy about that, maybe. I'm just kidding. I hate Blackbeard. Blackbeard mains suck. We're going to see them 6-pick off of the Mira onto a Frost, so we got the Pog mats coming out. You might be able to catch some feetsies coming through windows. But I wanted to point out last time with the Malusi, I'm glad they brought it, but the way they played it wasn't the greatest. And I think it's just a lack of awareness maybe, or they just don't play him enough, you know? So I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt. But the way they put it on that cabinet side, it's all line of sight for her gadget. So we saw that the Ashe wasn't in the line of sight until she literally was right next to it. She could just punch it. So it wasn't utilized in the greatest way it could be. You want to put it like in the middle of floor so it can get a full line of sight onto whoever's going to be pushing near it. Yeah, it's vulnerable for them to shoot like Ashe charges or something, but that also makes them waste that utility. And then also we've seen they haven't really been using that utility as often as you'd like to see. Those Evil Eyes, for example, were still on the board, both of them, and yet they had an Ashe and a Zofia. They didn't take care of any of the Evil Eyes. So just some things like that are just showing us that the utility could be played a little bit better on both sides, I would say. Looking at it, though, they are going to go to that third site that we haven't seen yet. They're going to be in Reading Fireplace. I thought the Mirror was a good pick, but they opted to go with the Frost instead. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Mira is definitely an insane operator within herself. I have said this multiple times in many different streams, saying that she's the full package. She is every single operator in one when it comes to defending everything in an operator, at least. Her gadget is insane. She can block off an entire entryway just with one single gadget if played correctly. The Nitrocell obviously is one of the most picked gadgets in the game. She brings on a secondary shotgun, opens up those rotates, absolutely insane. And the fact that she has a 3 armor with that vector to her disposal is just insane within itself. So to see her switch off that pick to go for the Frost, which I can understand why she 6-picked to the Frost to actually catch them off guard and make sure that they don't entirely know that they're going to bring the Frost and not have that time to actually set up for it, even though it's just, hey, there's a Frost mat in front of you, shoot it. But that's entirely different when it comes to the Mira saying, hey, there's a Mira window in front of you. Try to take the Mira off the window. Try to use some sort of hard breach to take her off that window. It's much more complicated trying to take down a Mira than it is to counter something like a Frost. I want to say that Pluto, being the fragger of the match, being taken down really, really early onto the round, with still 1:40 remaining, that would be a trade for the Bonbon. For Bonbon. I wanted to say, I remember what I was going to say in the past, Bonbon being taken down with Pledge utility, but no longer at this point. It seems like since they're not using that vertical play, just shows me the lack of knowledge how much potential it has for this team. The fact that they have not been made aware of the fact that they could be using so much more space. They could be taking care of some space with that vertical play. Just shows me that they're just more comfortable taking the horizontal plays, or they just don't have that understanding in general.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably just a lack of understanding. We've heard that the feedback can be appreciated at times. So, well, that's a misplay, but Zaren's going to get a kill on the Animal in the meantime while the Sophia's stunning herself. So they're going to bring it into a man advantage for the attackers now. Now, one thing I was wrong about, this isn't the Reading Fireplace. This is Mining Fireplace, which we don't see often picked by defenders because it's really hard to hold that site. And one of the reasons is the verticality that we can see. And there it is, verticality coming out finally. Rai getting a kill on the Bing Bong Mutt Grinds, going to kill on the Nom, so he does get a refight, but now it's a 2v3 for these defenders. They have 30 seconds, so that is at least in their favor. His attackers all lining up behind this wall, but he's missing all the shots. Kojo gets taken out by Zaren, and now it's all on Mutt. He does a lot of damage, but doesn't get any kills for his trouble. The plant is going down by Rai, and Mutt just pre-firing the smoke grenade, cutting off his angles. He's not going to be able to find anything. He's going to rotate through Reading, but now it's a post-plant 1v3. They can jump outside of that window in Mining. That's another reason this is so dangerous for these defenders to play this site. And now these attackers have the full advantage. There's going to be a man outside the window, as I'd mentioned, so that's going to be a lot for Mutt Grind to deal with. He's going to have to first take the engagement here with the man in that hallway leading to red stairs, and he got blinded by the Ying, so more time being burned. It's a 7-second diffuse time for him as well. Doesn't matter. Zaren's just going to clean it up. That's going to be a 3-3 split here on Cafe, and then we're going to swap sides. Now Butler will be able to show us what they can do with their defense, and on the other side, Arcadia, what can they do on attack? Are they going to see more play of that verticality we've been harping on?
I really hope to see that type of play come out of them. And Mutt Grinds is actually, I expect to see it from his along with, yeah, there you go. There's the sludge pick right there. And Big Chi, I expected to see the idea and more of it come from Big Chi. I know rank doesn't really matter, but beforehand, I have been made aware that he is actually a Plat 1. Being a Plat 1 just shows the time that you have dedicated to the game and your awareness of the game in general. It doesn't really show too much like skill-wise or anything like that, but the fact that you just have that rank in general just shows that you have more of an understanding than most people in this game. The fact that I just saw the report prompt pull up was very comedic right there. But I do want to bring up the fact that they did switch off the castle into the Echo. The Echo nerf that did come up recently makes him not really effective as much as he's been in the past. That plant denial is still there, but the actually deny the plant denial is much better than it has been in the past. They don't really have to bring an IQ for him anymore. So you can just walk up and just any operator can look up and say, okay, there's the Echo a little bit more comfortably than what we did before. His gun is still pretty good. He does bring a shield to the board as well, so he's not that bad of an operator still, but he's a little bit yet less useful than he was in the past.
For sure, definitely less useful, but I will argue the point that I do like it, actually. I think he's a good op. The shield, for one, yes, but I do think we've seen in pro play, even after that nerf to him, that the Echo has been useful. We've seen it in some of the majors in the pro league circuit, but the main reason for that is they just find angles and places to hide the drone so the attackers can't see it. And it all depends how the round develops, of course. If they have the time, right, that's in the dying seconds, it's going to be a lot more useful than if you hit them with it early and mid round, because you have to stop the plant because they got in a lot quicker than you'd like on the defense. So there's obviously the situational circumstance that's going to change how useful he is. But I do still think that he brings a lot of utility, and that just the cameras in general always feeding information, even if they're not going to be using the Echo like concussive rounds, you can still hide them under chairs and things like that, and use them as like a drone in that sense. So there's still some versatility with that usage. Pluto, his drone, is going to find out Rye. There's going to be some engagement down here at the bottom of new stairs, looking towards that bottom white garage area. There's going to be some goo mines at the bottom of stairs here that could catch the Ash, but no, they're just going to hold the angle and get Rye. Goodbye again. And that's going to give them the man advantage early on in this round. These defenders trying to be very aggressive, but they're getting punished for it.
The interesting play, because they have wasted so much time and actually did a lot of damage, although Legion is dead right now. The amount of damage that he did from 2 separate operators, I believe Animal Mother was damaged from the Bandit more than anyone else, but Pluto did take damage from the Legion itself. So although dead, he did cause an impact, so you can't really say that he did not do anything for this round. And Pluto, that little bit of HP could be game changing when it comes to the end of the round. You don't really know. And like you said in the past, those Echoes can be used for that intel. They definitely still can. Just the ability to actually peek them, actually take care of them, just in less of a gadget from IQ in your eyes to being able to see it is definitely very, very useful for at least the attacking side to be able to take care of. And
yeah,
prove me wrong right now. And I was okay. Yeah, no. See, right there is exactly, but not the reason why I was going to mention before, because he was in the middle of transitioning. So don't say too much on it.
Yeah, and there's the Echo coming out, but they do waste it. I do think you didn't need to concuss the man below there. Could have just fed that information. Now they knew where it was, able to shoot it, take care of it. We do see that there is some people moving up the white stairs here. I don't know if the defense is ready for it. There's an engagement, but Bing Bong's going to come out on top, but the roam comes up and flanks them. Big Chi taking out Kojo and Animal Mother, bringing it back to a 2v2. He just tied it up for his team. He's going to engage with the Ash and win. That's Pluto off the board. Now it's up to Bing Bong. He's upstairs. He has the diffuser in hand, so he could try and get a plant, but now he has to contest with both Big Chi and Nam. Nam playing, he's laying down, his feet are visible. He's going to get caught off from the side here, but Bing Bong just completely missing him to his right, and they're both missing each other. Oh my goodness, this is comical. Not able to see each other, not hearing the man, but they're going to catch each other, and Bing Bong does win that engagement, but enough time was burned. Now, Big Chi, if he pushes up now, he could get the kill. He knows that Bing Bong has to be planting insight somewhere. He's going to push up. Now the engagement's going to come out. He's going to get the kill. He's going to have an easy defuse here. And that's going to be the first round of defense coming up for Butler in a narrow 1v1.
That was amazingly played by Chi there. Not only was his roam successful, his follow-up and the intel given to him, if it was auditorial or teammate given, when it came to the Ash below, and him playing a very aggressive angle on her as well, took her out almost instantaneously, and then played it smart to the point of waiting out that time to see if he's still planting. Came to the conclusion of, I have time to run up before I've been made aware that he is currently planting, runs up, and actually wins the gunfight with Buck as well, which is absolutely beautifully played by the Bandit. You got to give him props for that. That was a 4K that round. I'm not entirely sure if there was a fifth one. I did not catch that near the beginning of the round, so please prove me wrong if you can. I actually do like to see that mute play right there, Bon, my boy. You have much more respect from me, my buddy. If you bring that SMG, I definitely will be taking that back. But if I do see the SAS shotgun, then it will be confirmed and locked in. Interesting pick. Oh yeah, they do have the Kaid. Okay, I was gonna say that was an interesting pick to go from the Bandit to the Maestro, but bringing that Kaid actually does substitute for the Bandit, so that was a really smart play right there. If it is on the upstairs site, no, it's actually going to be on the downstairs site. And that Kaid's ability to actually shock multiple walls, because like when it comes to Freezer, he could just throw an electrical in the perfect spot to actually get both wall. I believe it's only one wall. Please prove me wrong if you can.
Oh, it's 2 walls and the hatch. You can
2 walls and the hatch. I wonder if he does understand the positioning of that, and I want to see if Raya actually has an understanding of that as well. Pluto actually not. He's actually going to go straight in. If that had Kaid actually a little bit more time, that would have been a little bit more intel off the board for them. I heard of this leak before. Please, I've been saying this a lot recently. Prove me wrong if you can. Is there going to be a drone counter when it comes to the HUD or like the interface later on? Like when it comes to how many drones that you take care of for the defending side?
Oh, I'm not actually 100% on that. I haven't heard about that. I just was watching. They are going to get that position. Now, one thing I do want to mention quick, just before we continue at that point, is this is where that IQ you mentioned her. You're a huge fan, and I'm a huge fan as well. She could see through, and if they go up on top of white stairs here on the landing, you can actually get the angle to shoot the Kaid charge. So that's why it's always dangerous to put it in that position, because it is hanging from the ceiling, and it is soft wall at the top of those reinforced walls. So that's the only caveat to doing that. But at the same time, they haven't been bringing the IQ, so it's totally a good play. But anyway, I'll let you continue. Yes. So the drone counter.
Yeah, the drone counter. I'm not entirely sure about that one. Please, it's probably false. I've just heard it from friends, so please prove me wrong if you can. But when it comes to that play with the IQ that you did mention before in the past, I think it's just the lack of awareness that this team currently has that they could possibly do that. From what I've seen so far, that's just my judgment call that I don't think that they are aware of that play. So that being said, they're free to do whatever they want with that Kaid claw and not have to worry about it being taken down as easily as you mentioned. So that is just one of the things I did want to bring up. And it's very aggressive on the upstairs, even though the site is bottom floor. Okay, there goes Legion. I was gonna mention the aggression from the defending side, and it really shows the aggression right there because the sledge took him down almost instantaneously, and even more aggression from Bonbon. You're throwing the nitrocell up, and you're making yourself very, very vulnerable to that gunfire that you just saw come from already. You cannot peek that with the nitrocell. That was not the best play for Bonbon right there. I was hoping to see that mute play a little bit more closer to sight. I'm gonna guess since he was roaming, he was not running the shotgun.
Do you see Jaeger on the stairs creeping here? He could find these attackers. There's 3 of them here to be found if he just wants to flank right now. I don't think they have any air jabs. They do not have that op on the board, so they could very well get caught unaware unless they have a flank drone watching for this. But he can find himself in a good position, getting some really pivotal kills for his team. They're down 2 men right now. If he could just get 2 kills, he could easily turn this round on its head. Now, they are getting work done, opening up the hatch, and they did get it open, but that's going to be the man down. Bing Bong off the board, and a second one going to follow up, dropping the hatch by itself. This is why you don't do it. There is a drop, but he doesn't hear the sound cue. There is 1 man left in Freezer behind him. He's going to have to be careful, but he gets caught out, and that's going to be the Maestro down and dusted. And now it's up to Nam by himself. Raya was taken out by Animal as well, so things are not looking good. 1v3 situation. The hot drop from the hatch paired with the push in from here over by the bar doorway did prove to be enough for these attackers. And now it's up to a 1v3. It's a 1v2 now. Nam gets 1, but he's going to get taken out. Animal jumping out through the rotate. Nice black ice on the AK, and he gets the kill. That's going to bring it back to an even round count.
Yeah, there's a reason why Maestro is an anchor. He can hold every single one of those angles without reloading once. He got 2 kills, hasn't reloaded. He pre-fired the double door to his right, hasn't reloaded. And then he got into a little bit of a gunfight that he was not been made aware of from the window of Freezer. And then obviously he still hasn't reloaded because he was dead in that situation. But Kaid and Maestro both taken down pretty quickly in that situation as well, and really well coordinated from the attacking side. And that's exactly what I like to see. There was 2 people upstairs that were taken down very quickly by 1 singular man, and I believe it was, all I can say that I just remember it was the Sledge who played it. I do not know at the moment, but those quick 2 picks were absolutely beautifully played, and then the coordinated by both sides.
Oh, I'm hearing lag here.
It was beautifully played as well. Okay, yeah, that is entirely good. I can continue my spiel. Whenever it comes to those type of plays, I absolutely love that coordination, and I want to see it continue for the remainder of this round. I did not really expect it a little bit more from Arcadia, and that's exactly who we saw it from. I want to see a little bit more from Butler to actually combat that coordination, and that very well played. As I say coordination, Bonbon goes to reinforce a wall with Big Chi, and Big Chi takes it from him. And Bonbon's placement, I want to see why he's running all the way over here. I'm going to assume that he's placing a Maverick cam, or not Maverick cam, a Maestro cam, all the way over there, and that's going to be a really interesting placement. I'm really curious how they're going to utilize that, because when it came to this type of play, they didn't really play too much upstairs. The only time they really took an upstairs push was with the sledge taking care of 2 roamers on red stairs. And then when it came to the middle floor, that's the only other place that they really went. So that Maestro cam being placed there can watch both white hallway and brown stairs, so that is really well played. Hopefully the Zofia and the Ashe are actually been made aware of the Maestro cams this time. As you mentioned in the past, they did not really utilize their gadgets properly, and that was inevitably the loss of the round because of the amount of intel and awareness that they had of those pushes coming from the attacking side.
Yeah, those evil eyes just being so pivotal and feeding that information, as you mentioned. So that's something to watch out for. You do see the roam game is prevalent. They do have Zarin on that Legion, just doing this roam game. Last time, though, he's taken out pretty early, and I would like to see it last a little longer. They need to buy more time. They died, I think, within the first minute, I think. At least the first one. I think it was the first 2, because then that C4 came up from the mute, and he was taken off the board really easily as well. So they just need to survive longer. The time could have ticked down to favor them, but just too much time on their hands for the attackers. And the defense, well, we can only hold off for so long while Maestro if you're going to get pushed from multiple directions. I think someone was pushing on that back doorway. So, yeah, he got caught by the window of the freezer, but he probably would have been caught unawares on the backside as well. Just too many angles to watch out from. And we're going to see a C4 already being used, but it's not going to catch anyone. That's Rai on that Cade, missing that C4. He's had a little bit of a rougher game here. That is Nam, though. He's going to pick up the slack onto Kojo. That's the opening kill for the defense now. He's going to have to watch out from his right here. He does get caught, and that is the ace of Mutt Grinds, taking him out, bring it back to an even round count. But you probably take that trade, that is utility off the board in the hands of the Zofia, and well, Jaeger's a plug-and-play op. He can put down his ADSs, and then he can just go die, basically.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those operators that once you get that pick, you take it with a grain of salt, because his gadget's already down and they're already being put to use. So there's not really too much of an issue getting taken care of him as a fragger. And he's more just like, oh, okay, I got a kill, and I now have the man advantage. That's really all that he really does when you take care of him, compared to taking care of utility that like a Maestro would bring. As I say, that the Maestro cam is currently being used when it comes to the mute shotgun. That's very dangerous. The goo mine slowly being charged as the round progresses. So as you can see, there's other operators that you can definitely that actually bring more of an impact. And that beautiful shot from the Kaid right there, that little pixel peek that when it came to peeking that little hard breach right there, and there's still a lot of support from both sides. The Maestro's watching his back as the Kaid watches his back as well. With that mag that he has at his disposal, anything could really happen.
Yeah, 30 seconds time is ticking down. These attackers are going to have to just flush through the doorway here near bar. There's a roamer that they'll be aware of, and you can hear the air jab is also there to try and help prevent that roamer from getting them on a flank. But they're going to start executing in the sight. That's going to be Zarin, though, getting the kill on the Mud Grinds. He got it from above. He gets a second one on the Animal, and this is all falling apart. Pluto going to get finished off by Bonbon with that Alda. Just mentioned how powerful and how many bullets that has. Well, that was a nice, clean round coming up from the defense, and they put themselves in a little bit of an advantage here, 5-4, but it's been close altogether. They're going to need another round here if they want to start pulling away and trying to get this last map won in regulation.
Yeah, to see Butler win that round and actually take the round, take the lead with the rounds, I really like to see that, because that's all I've really seen of Butler to actually lose to a 7-2 difference. And to actually see them take the lead now is actually really refreshing, and actually really does make me feel like they could actually take this home. Hopefully they can actually continue to keep that lead and bring it to a 2-round lead, and then continue on from there and actually bring it to match point before they even get a round on them. So hopefully, or a round from now on, at least they do have 4 rounds on them. So I do take that back, but I really hope to see them continue of how they are playing. And then the difference between the Maestro and the Echo right there, both kind of similar operators, but they bring both those gadgets, but one is a little bit more mobile, of course, and then the other one brings that ginormous mag and ginormous gun that brings nothing but damage to the attacking side. And to see him switch over to the Echo Yokai, I'm not entirely sure about that pick there. Clearly they have some sort of stretch that I'm not entirely aware of, so I can't really pick on them too much about it. The placement that I did see from the Echo beforehand, I did really like when it came to placing it top of the pillar ceiling. When it came to that was a really well played spot. I barely even saw when they took care of it. So where it was placed, not only visually but auditorially, the placement of it was just perfect. And the fact that he used his Echo stun before a plant was even to go down, because that placement could see majority of the default locations. So the fact that he used it way too early just shows that he needs to take a step back, calm down, and realize that he should have just let that go. And yes, it could have won him a gunfight, but that's not what you want. You want to take first, and that is inevitably the reason why people bring Echo.
Yeah, and we saw the Echo putting that shield down in the pixel. That's the corner of the piano area, heading into that white hallway where these attackers are repelling outside of. What's curious is they had it on the corner, which I don't really like. You have to place it back. You want to pair that with an ADS and the 1 Midas. Only using 1 Midas makes it really easy for the attackers to burn out and take care of that shield. So they have to be very careful. Whoever's playing on that shield could get taken out pretty easily. You see the Echo drone is going to be off of sight, off of the floor, actually, all the way on the bottom floor. And that's an interesting position. Maybe they're just rotating it, though. Maybe he's going to bring it up those new stairs and have it in pillars like you had mentioned. You like that position. I agree. Seemed like a good position. So that's probably where that's being moved to. These attackers, a minute in, not a lot of control yet. They're going to have to worry about Rye below. He might be able to contest with the Nomad down below. We do see Animal just holding in a pixel peek onto red stairs. But we do see that the Big Chi, no, it's Rye, excuse me. He's going to be rotating here. He might be able to catch him on the backside.
Yeah, and having that Nomad push by himself is not my favorite. Exactly right there. That's exactly why I do not want to see that Nomad run by himself. That is until Arc. And I don't think Rye has been made aware that he did down him. So if these operators play this correctly, no, a team kill goes off, and that wasn't even the downed one. That is very unfortunate. And that will definitely kick themselves. They're going to be kicking themselves later for that one, and definitely going to have to kick themselves now. And just they need to stop. Okay, they just need to clean up, take a step back with what they have right now before anything else happens. And he takes another one before he even takes on the down one. The damage that Rye is doing right now, one of the kills wasn't even him, but he's still doing the damage because the pressure that he is applying right now is ginormous.
Yeah, Bing Bong and Pluto are the only ones left alive after the TK and the other kills. Echo going to do some work, give it the information. Can cause him so he's distracted, and then Big Chi getting the C4. He's having quite the game here. He is 14-3. The Echo drone going to continue to annoy Bing Bong, and his position giving away also because of that information coming from the camp. He's going to be by himself, getting a little bit electrocuted on the backside as well. His butt getting stung. He's going to try and push in. He's going to contest with Piano, but that's going to be a kill coming out. Almost flawless, but Pluto gets his C4, or excuse me, a Claymore kill on the Big Chi. What a close round of being flawless for that defensive Butler, but not to be apparently. But they do take a 2-round advantage. It's map and match point now, and Arcadia, you need to find 2 in a row here if you want to stay alive. Otherwise, that's going to be it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that Echo play, I mentioned before in the past how the stuns should not be used as much because that is intel off the board and you should not be using it. But what Buck did exactly was he did not try to take care of the Echo as soon as he could. He focused on the angle from, which is entirely understandable because if an Echo is going to be stunning an operator, you should be expecting a peek directly afterwards because that is disorienting the operator and allowing a defender to actually peek him properly with that a much bigger advantage in the defender's peek. So having that Buck not take that down was want to see as an Echo. So once you take care of that shot and actually you do connect it, that means that he's panicking. You know he's panicking. You could see how fast he was flicking between 2 angles. He was panicking, and that's exactly what you want to see coming from the attacking side. And once you make them panic like that, then it's absolutely perfect, and you pretty much won the round if someone is going to be in that negative mindset, and you're going to be able to just win any sort of gunfight in that. With that being said.
Yeah, and the Echo being paired with the C4 from below is just perfect timing. Can cause him, make him a little confused on where to go, not realizing he's standing on destructible floor. So what a good kill coming up from Big Chi on that one. He does get killed from the C4, so he also tallies a death in the death column, so that's unfortunate. But he's been making up for a little bit of a lackluster play coming up from Bon. Rye having a little bit of a quieter game, but we did see him get that double kill on deletion, so good for him that last round. Bring it back a little bit more. The other team does seem a little bit more balanced in their kills. We see it range from 5 to 10 kills versus on the other side of 4 to 14. So quite different range of kills coming out from Butler compared to Arcadia. But the team that is more has more variety, I guess we'll say, the disparity is greater. It doesn't seem to be hindering them as they do have that 2 extra rounds to their name. So just having that one player sometimes step up and be that opening killer is important. Rye with the spawn peek onto Animal. That's going to be your hard breach off the board early. That might just seal the deal, given the man advantage early and the hard breach, as I mentioned, off the board. That's going to be making it very hard for these attackers to push.
All right. Well, there's a reason why you need to get on that roof as soon as you can, because and that was an interesting jump in by the Blackbeard. I don't know if he had the intel or not, but these pushes seem to seem a lot more careless than what they have been in the past. And the reason why you want to get on that roof as soon as you can is because of those potential runouts. Every single end of that map, north, south, east, west, every single part has that runout, has that angle to take care of those repels, and that's why you got to get on top as soon as you can. Ace stalled on that little ledge there for way too long. That is exactly what got him killed, and that's when he needs to change up later on in the future. And then back before all this was happening, I wanted to bring up that echo play before. I liked exactly what I saw right there. He didn't really stun him until the nitro cell was about to go off and it came to that new block area, and that's exactly what I like to see. There's going to be a trade-off going on to the Jaeger, getting a little bit more of revenge, or he's going to be avenging his Blackbeard. That Blackbeard was definitely not in the right there, and then Ash actually does manage to pick another one, shifting it more in their favor, and that's definitely what you want to see right now. And hopefully that diffuser does not go down in the process. There's actually going to be a Zofia as well. A little bit of PM coming from Rai right there, just stalling before he does take down the operator right there. One remaining, and that happens to be the diffuser as well, so that's pretty much the end of the round right there.
Yeah, Bing Bong, last one remaining. You mentioned there's other kills coming out, and that leaves him in a 1v3. Big Chi giving a little BM, as you mentioned, stalling out on his shots. And now he's going to go for the last kill here. Will he find it? He does not. He gets taken out. So unfortunately, not going to be able to add that stat line, but it doesn't matter. And excuse me, I was on the wrong line. He gets the C4 kill. That was my bad. Shouldn't discredit him before the round's over. He was still alive, got that kill. What a nice C4. Finishing up that was 3 rounds in a row for them, I believe, just to show how clutch they can be. That was impressive stuff.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I was so confused of what happened with that nitro cell, because clearly you could hear and see the explosion of the nitro cell, but I was so confused because it was a hard floor, so I was like, where did that come from? And then I did see the kill cam, and then it was explained to me later on. Really well played by Big Chi right there, and then Nham, sorry, my bad, coming up right behind him with 10 kills, both in the double digits right now. And both fraggers really showing what they can really do for that team. I didn't really catch who was fragging their team though, and I would like who that was later on in the future. But yeah, that was really well played. You're going to get GGs from the opposite team right now, and good to see that type of sportsmanship come from, especially a game like this. Both played fairly well. They did clean up their acts that I did see on Villa, and I like to see that come out of them. And I did see that they were playing a lot more risky. The risk factor was toned down a little bit. They weren't holding down shift as much, and we also saw the Malusi come out from the defending side. So everything that I listed off got checked off by each side. So I really like to see that come out of them.
One thing I will mention that I would like to see a little more cleaned up is just the drone work. We saw people solo pushing, and if you're going to do that, which is always a dangerous thing, you need to pair it with a drone. Someone should be droning that person in. Oftentimes, someone would be pushing, they wouldn't have the drone to support. They get caught from a weird angle that wasn't cleared, and then that would be an easy kill for whatever side it was, each side having that issue. So just something to be aware of. But that is the matchup. Butler winning 2-1 in that map count. And so they're going to come out with the victory on this one. Really good game from both teams, though. Can't discredit anyone there. And that's going to be it for this matchup. I believe we will have a break before we get to the next matchup. Me and you, I think, Kyra, are going to be done for the day. So we'll have another set of casters coming on for that next game. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in for us. But for you, there's still more matches. I think one more match at least to watch after this. So stay tuned for that to start up. Thank you for coming with us, and we'll be back with you in just a moment.
Hey man, I just can't find a comfortable headset. I mean, I've tried everything. Literally everything.
Jeez, my brother. I got you.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
That is comfortable.